Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei trained in Time Capsule and becomes the heir of Son Goku Part 5. Before we start, please go support Ultimate-REBORN for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Issei is a male in this story. Chapter 15 Issei's Awakening. The battle is over. Hello my faithful, here once again his faithful servant bringing you a new chapter of this great fic. Without more words, let's begin. On the battlefield, a new Issei was seen. He was transformed into Super Saiyan 4, but a new one and never seen before. His fur that was previously light red was now intense red, his hair that naturally should be black was now a very bright crimson red color, his eyes had the same color as normal phase 4, and the aura that should be golden was now an intense red of divine space. That's right, Issei's Super Saiyan 4 was now a divine state. Issei. HMP starting to float until he is in front of Goku. I saw you more powerful and unstoppable the previous time, but now that I see you, well, you are not a big deal. Goku? What? This one would have several ticks in his right eye from what I heard, but what a conceited guy. The Saiyan girls could not stop being amazed at seeing the new evolution that their beloved had. They no longer had words to describe it. Bekeno. Amazing, red doesn't look bad on Issei kun fufufu. Ignia. It's destiny, we are both compatible for something. He looks so imposing. So rude. So manly. The dragon's heart raced as she saw the new form of her dominant male. Today, I will give myself to him. I can't contain this desire any longer. I need it, and I need it now. Erica. Why red? It looks very good but tch curse. The blonde saw his red-haired rival and couldn't help but feel jealous. Rias. It must be fate, now we are identical, we are made for each other, we are both compatible. She was totally hypnotized by seeing the new appearance of her security. Issei could only see his hands and his new body and hair. Issei. So this was the result of fusing with the Dragon Balls. It's incredible, it's amazing. Is Goku? Don't get distracted. The blue Saiyan appears in front of the red-haired Saiyan, punching him in the face, and after a few moments Goku hears laughter, which came from Issei, who still had Goku's fist in his face. Issei. Be careful Goku. You could burn yourself. Goku? What? And in that moment he feels how his hand was burning, a continuation of seeing how the fist that hit Issei turned red as a sign that he was roasting. Goku? Gwaya. He removes his fist from the security's face while he began to blow his fist comically until he saw that his hand was already normal. He looked ahead and what he saw surprised him. Goku? What? But what is that? Issei. Returning to normal. It is a technique that belonged to a great warrior. A few moments ago my body was emitting the same heat waves that the sun produces. No, even now with this new power that I have, I am capable of emitting waves hotter than the sun itself. It worked. My wish requested by the Dragon Balls worked, but I won't show them all, he thought with joy, and not only that, observe. At that, the security raises his hand and makes a fireball appear that emitted a large wave of heat that surprised Goku. Issei. Think fast, throwing the fireball at the Saiyan. Goku? Oh no. Goku manages to dodge the fireball, but a part of his dogi had been burned, showing part of his torso, but he also received a slight burn on that part, which brought out some moans of pain from the Saiyan. Issei. Appearing in front of Goku. Freeze. Goku? What? The Saiyan felt cold on his feet, and when he looked down he was surprised to see that his body was beginning to be covered by a large layer of ice that was constantly rising until the Saiyan had been locked in an ice tomb. The gods who saw this raised their eyebrows in a bit of amazement. Vegeta only watched the security's technique with curiosity. He had to admit that it was somewhat amazing, but his girls. Rias. Incredible. A few moments ago Issei manifested the 4-star dragon heat technique that we saw in Son Goku's memories, but how did he do it? This one was incredulous. Bekeno. And not only that, now he just did the 3-star dragon freezing technique. Son Goku is frozen. This one was the same as his friend. Returning to the Crimson Emperor Saiyan, he was standing with his arms crossed looking at the ice tomb that he made for Goku. He sighs. Issei. I see that he can't get out. Very good, I'll take him out. He puts his hands together and says Rep Shinkuzan. The large whirlwind appears in front of Issei, then the whirlwind heads towards the ice tomb until it reaches its goal. Then everyone realizes that the whirlpool was not common, since they saw it as the ice tomb. It began to break little by little. Apparently it was a sharp wind. After a few moments the ice was completely destroyed, releasing the Saiyan blue. Goku? Incredible. This one had several chills on his body. I had never seen a technique like that. I can swear that that ice was much worse than the one that exists in the time room. Issei. And I'm not done yet. This appears above Goku sent Kaiten Ha. A strong current of wind is present at the same time that small cutting diamonds made of Kai were going towards Goku, who could only put his hands in the shape of an that the Saiyan gave small moans of pain, in addition to feeling how the blood was coming out of his body. When the attack stops, you see a Goku with many cuts on his body and lines of blood coming out of these. Goku? You have surprised me, I had never known techniques like that, you really are a box of surprises boy, he laughed despite his injuries. Issei. More than you can imagine, he smiled sideways. Goku, I'm sorry to say it but you're finished. Everyone who read this part of the fic had one for the words of the security. Bekeno. Ara, how much pride fufufu. Rias. Issei, you have become very strong but don't brag. Goku. Am I finished? What am I done for? He's cocky, the twitches in his eyes increased due to the Crimson Saiyan's words. I admit that attack was good. But you're going to need more than that to defeat me. This expels the divine aura from him to the maximum. Get ready, Super Saiyan 4 limit breaker. Now I will go with everything I have. Issei. Well, let's not waste any more time and let's end this once and for all. Both released their divine auras to the highest level and launched themselves at each other, giving very brutal blows that created very powerful waves of wind that destroyed the nearby mountains. In addition to each blow they caused, one spat blood, and the same was true for them. The other, now that Issei was at Goku's level, was not going to waste the opportunity, and so they continued fighting with everything they had for a long time. The gods watched the brutal fight attentively. Whis. Mr. Beerus, what is your opinion regarding this battle? Beerus. It's too entertaining. I even dare to say that this battle is much more amazing than the one I had against Goku. Vegeta. He really takes advantage of 100% of the Saiyan power. That insect demonstrated it worth. Everyone had positive opinions while watching the fight, but some very hexy women were worried. Rias. Hey, isn't this fight a little violent? The amount of blood that Issei draws from his body is starting to worry me. Ignia. It's true, we dragons are brute force when it comes to fighting but this is out of logic. My love is a true warrior. I'm starting to get restless while I see. Bekeno and Erika were also very worried about the situation of their security. Between moments they covered their eyes when Issei received a bang all over their faces. They had their hand on their chest out of concern, returning to the fight. More than 40 minutes of non-stop blows and kicks had already passed. Goku and Issei continued to go wild with blows, in which they both took distance. Both had blood on the face and some parts of the body, but something happens. Goku. What? Noticing how his blue aura disappeared within seconds and came back. Magician, I'm running out of energy, I'm reaching the limit, I need to end this now. Issei. Damn, panting hard, I'm not used to this new divine power, it would be better to end this as soon as possible. He also notices how his divine aura disappeared and reappeared after a few seconds. I'm running out of energy, I must end it. I am. Goku. It's time, let's end this. Issei. He expels all the power he had left. Well, he got into a very well-known pose. Issei. Fire the best Kamehameha you have, Goku, because I'm not going to go back or avoid it, he said it, expelling the red aura from him. His women were startled when they heard that from their Saiyan. Vegeta. This attack will decide everything, let's see which of the two insects will win. This one watched with total attention, the most crucial moment of the fight. Beerus. The final moment of the fight has arrived. Whis. That's right, it's time to see who will win, the red or the blue. Goku. Goku had simply launched the Kamehameha with all the power he had left, heading towards the Crimson Saiyan, who expelled the power he had left. Issei. I trust in my strength, I'm on. Issei then takes flight directly towards Goku's Kamehameha. That greatly surprised the deities and Vegeta, but scared the girls who saw him from the projection sphere. Erika. But what are you doing, Issei? Get out of there, don't do something crazy. Bekeno. Issei-kun, what do you think you're doing? Get out of there, that will kill you. The Saiyan was not listening to them, and without further ado he is hit by Goku's Kamehameha, but the blue Saiyan is surprised by what he saw. Issei was repelling the Kamehameha with his own body. Goku. Impossible, it's like in Namek when he threw the Kamehameha at Frieza, and Frieza repelled it with his own body. What memories, he smiled high. He applied more power to his attack. Issei. Inside the Kamehameha KKKGH I can. Issei refused to back away while he continued to repel Goku's attack with his body. Issei. A little more. Goku. Damn, my energy. Are low. This reduces the power of the Kamehameha for a second. A serious error. At that, the Red Emperor Saiyan noticed a small weakness in the Blue Saiyans. Power. The moment had arrived. Issei. Now Heiya. Issei comes out of the right side of the Kamehameha at full speed towards Goku, while his right fist began to emit a golden glow. Goku. How? This shocked man sees how the Crimson Saiyan came out of the Kamehameha and went in his direction. No, it's not possible. Issei. Thank you for everything, Goku, I will never forget it, he thought with joy, remembering his example to follow. Receive my most powerful attack, Goku. Goku. It's impossible. Beerus and Whis already knew how this would end, while Vegeta had a face of total surprise at what was going to happen. Rias. Issei. Bekeno. Issei-kun. Ignia. Honey. Erika. My beloved. 5. Do it. Issei. Dragon Strike. Goku. Shishi Shenglong. That was the only thing the Saiyan could say, and then he was devoured by the colossal golden dragon, causing an infernal apocalyptic explosion accompanied by a great glow. All the rocky mountains of the desert had been destroyed by the great wave and then created a powerful curtain of smoke. The girls had to cover their eyes due to the great glare. Beerus and Whis looked on as if nothing had happened, and Vegeta backed away with a face of total shock. That's when everything calms down. You hear how something falls from the heights until it hits the ground. The gods see what it was and just give a sigh, and Vegeta continued with the same expression because of what his eyes were contemplating. Vegeta. Kakarot was defeated. He did not believe what his eyes saw. Whis deactivates the barrier that covered them, and he and Beerus noticed that the entire desert that once had rocky mountains at a glance was now a completely flat ground, and there were gigantic craters around. In the skies you see an Issei who had lost his Super Saiyan 4 limit breaker form and was breathing very heavily. Issei. No. I can't stand it anymore. The Saiyan begins to fall towards the ground. He no longer had any energy to stay in the air, and he just closed his eyes and prepared himself for the pain of the imminent fall. But then he feels how the power of his fall begins to slowly decrease. When he opens his eyes he is quite surprised, but then he smiles with a little consciousness he had left. Issei. Hello Rias. You did very well, you are very strong, my beloved Issei. She, even with her tears of happiness, would kiss the Saiyan, who would correspond with the strength she could, and within seconds the rest of the girls would also help the Saiyan to get down, after each one also kissed the Saiyan. Since Rias was it would make it difficult for him, due to the weight of the Security's clothes, until they touched the ground and delicately sit the Saiyan on the ground. Then the gods and Vegeta appear, who had Goku carrying him like a sack of potatoes, and then throw him to the ground as if nothing had happened. Girls. No, Vegeta would be the best nurse in the world, they all thought with one thing because of what they saw. And that both gods approach. Whis. Young Hyoudou, I must say that it was an impressive fight, he said it smiling. Beerus. I admit it boy, you have the ability to master the Saiyan power. Well done, the god smiled proudly at the Security. Issei. Thank you very much. He groaned because of the pain. Whis. The best thing now will be to cure them. Rias. Wait, how about we all go to my Issei's house? It is very comfortable, and there is delicious food there, what do you think? Both gods, upon hearing that, nod immediately, so Rias and the others, through a magic circle, go back to the Hyoudou mansion, while Whis with his staff transported Beerus, Vegeta and the unconscious Goku to where the presence of Goku was. The teenagers, so they appear in a very luxurious room where the boys were in front of them. Whis. Very well, I'll start with Goku. Whis with his staff emits green energy to the unconscious Saiyan, and within seconds all his clothes and wounds are restored and healed, thus within seconds the Saiyan awakens. Goku. Wow. I'm cured, it must have been Mr. Whis, so thank you, he said getting up. Issei. Incredible, he said in amazement at the angel's healing powers, which were very fast. Wow, this one gives another moan of pain. Whis. Very good young Hyoudou, now it's his turn, he said pointing his cane at the Saiyan in red. Issei. I would appreciate it very much, he smiled slightly. Whis was going to cure him but no was the cry from the girls who hugged the injured Red Emperor Saiyan, confusing the gods and the Saiyans, including Issei. Rias. We will be in charge of curing Issei, well you wait, we will give you what you want, Akeno. Hi but you, she said, she is smiling. At that the black-haired girl snaps her fingers, and on a large dining table many different dishes of food appear that catch everyone's attention. Iris. Gosh, these dishes look sublime. This one was already in the dining room. Whis. It's true, yes, smell is incredible, I can't wait to try them. This one was next to the lord of him. Goku and Vegeta, seeing the dishes and smelling the aromas, growled their stomachs, so they both approached the dining room, and without further ado, everyone began to eat as if there were no tomorrow, completely ignoring the teenagers, who the females carried Issei again. Rias. Come on Issei, it's time to cure you, she said that last one seductively. Akeno. Fufufu, Issei-kun, I'm already looking forward to touching your skin with mine, both of us naked and very attached while you recover, and you're going to enjoy it, she said it in the same tone as his mistress. Ignia. I can't stand it anymore right now, I will give myself to him, I need him to dominate me, and I need it now, I think, with a seductive smile about what he was going to do. Erica. Looking askance at Ignia. If it's what I think it is, then in that case I'll do it too, I need those strong arms surrounding my body, get ready my beloved, I think this is the same way as the Dragon Queen. Issei. Is this okay? I think he is a little nervous because of how his red-haired and black-haired girlfriend spoke to him. I feel scared when I cross that door. And without waiting any longer, they all enter another room with their man, leaving the guests to eat quietly. But Vegeta sees the teenagers out of the corner of his eye and notices how the women unbuttoned their blouses as they entered the room. He ignored them while he thought of stuff. Vegeta. What vulgar healing methods do they have in this world? Thus, all the guests continued eating the great banquet, while Issei did not know that upon entering that room, in addition to being cured, he would be given two more girls, who were very eager to have their first time with their powerful Saiyan warrior. Well my friends, with this chapter 1 finish season 1 of Hyoudou Issei, the heir of Son Goku. I hope you enjoyed it. In the next chapter 1 we'll begin a mini saga before covering the events of DxD New, which will be named Issei School Transfer Week. Chapter 16 Issei's School Transfer. Issei was being healed in a bed by the 4 girls who were naked after the great battle he had with Issei and Son Goku. He had his torso exposed and his vision closed, but a smile from the sensation of the energies returning to him. Body. Bekeno. Fufufu, Issei-kun, are you feeling okay? He said she is naked and with her breasts covering the Saiyan's left arm. Issei. Yes, it feels relaxing, I feel like my energy is returning little by little, thank you girls he said with relief. Rias. You had a difficult battle Issei, you just stay calm and we will do the work she said with her breasts covering the Saiyan's right arm. After a few minutes, Issei would have completely recovered his energy and was cured. Issei. Thank you girls, I'm back to 100 he said with a sun smile. But he is captured by sweet lips that kissed him, he is surprised by the sudden action, after finishing the kiss he observes a red-haired dragon queen. Issei. Ignia-chan. He was the only thing he could say because of all the confusion. Ignia. Issei, my darling, I'm sorry, but I can't take it anymore, my instincts demanded of me, I want you to take me and claim my body and soul for you, make me yours she said with an anxious look, caressing her man's cheeks. Issei was surprised by this statement, but he is kissed by other lips, he observes a blonde who was looking at him in a loving way. Erica. Well, that being the case, I wanted to, make me yours my beloved, I want to give you all of me, my beloved Issei she said, kissing him again. Issei. Are you sure? I don't want to force them into something that maybe they aren't ready for yet. They are determined to do this. The only thing he got in response was another kiss from the Dragon Queen. Ignia. The only thing I don't want is to keep waiting, make me yours Issei. Erica. I agree with her, let's show our love for each other Issei. Ignia. Okay, what do we have here? He said mischievously, seeing a large bulge in the Saiyan's black pants. Rias and Akeno snapped their fingers, activating an anti-sound barrier in the room so that nothing could be heard outside the room. Lemon skipped please read it on website. Once everyone leaves they see the Saiyans and the deities waiting for them sitting on a sofa. Iris. It's about time they left, what were they doing in there? He said this angry. Issei. We are very sorry, but we do not take into account the notion of time he. Whis. Jojoho, come on, we don't have to fight, we also have things to talk about said the angel, smiling and calm as always. Issei. Sure, I'll answer all the questions you have. Iris. To begin with, why do you have Goku's body? He said looking into the Saiyan's eyes. Issei sighs since he expected that question, and without further ado, he tells them everything that happened about the capsule that came out of the black hole, and everything else that happened until now. Whis. I have a doubt young Hyoudou, I could already see everything that happened with my powers, I just wanted to hear it from you, but what intrigues me is that after the events of Majin Buu, there was more story after that, but for some reason unknown, I couldn't access those memories, why? Issei. Sigh well, the way things are going, that Goku pointing to Super Goku is not the same as the Goku I knew in my memories, I can see that his story progresses differently. Goku? What? My story? I don't understand. Issei without saying anything makes his gauntlet appear, surprising those present a little. Issei. You will understand when you see this is why I say that you are different from the Goku that I knew, after Majin Buu, his stories change. Thus the glove begins to project a hologram showing the events of Dragon Ball GT, from start to finish. Issei. And that's it he said wiping some tears from his face, he still doesn't get used to seeing the end. Rias Akeno. Everything is fine, don't cry they said, holding the Saiyan's hands. Everyone was quiet because of what they had seen. Whis. Mr. Beerus, are you crying? He said very surprised. Beerus. Of course not sniff, I am the god of destruction sniff and I have no feelings for anything sniff, not even anyone he said, turning his face so they wouldn't see him. But the most shocked were the Saiyans. Goku. I wonder what decisions I made for my story to change like that. He said he was surprised to see his story differently. Vegeta. TCH what the hell happened to my head? I look like a damn toothbrush. He thought he was very angry when he saw the alternate version of him. Whis. Simply incredible, but at the same time another great example of why it is a taboo to travel through time. History changed very drastically, but hey, the damage has already been done he said, giving a sigh of defeat. Iris. Anyway he said normal now child, you realize that in your world there is no one who can confront you with your power, you could easily rule here if you put your mind to it, so tell me. What are your intentions with that body? Everyone in the room was scared by the gaze of the destroyer god, but the Securite very confidently faced the god. Issei. I said it once and I say it again now, I will use this body and this power to keep my world safe and at peace. Those who try to disturb that peace will deal with me. Son Goku's will now resides in me, and I will never give up and exceed my limits. The girl smiled at the Saiyan's words, while the Goku smiled and Vegeta just looked away. The god smiled. Iris. Wise decision, he said. It's normal. Goku. Well, Issei, now that we saw this, I will tell you what happened in my timeline after Majin Buu, he said smiling. So Goku told the security and the girls about the events of the Battle of the Gods, the legend of the SSJ god that he saw in the fight, the god of destruction Beerus, and his assistant who was at his side. All the teenagers were scared when seeing an authentic destroyer god in front of their eyes, and they were even more scared to know what he was capable of. And he told them that after the battle between gods, Whis welcomed both him and Vegeta as his disciples, and thanks to training, they managed to awaken the SSJ Blue, and they continued training until today. Issei. Incredible, he said with a sparkle in his eyes. Whis. Okay, now that everything is clear and seeing that young Hyoudu's intentions are noble, it's time to go. We have to return to our dimension. The dimensional portal appeared in half the room. This was a sign the warriors would return to their world. Issei. Wait, Mr. Whis, before he leaves, I was wondering if he could do something for me, he said, putting his hands together in a supplication manner. Whis. As long as it is within my means it will be possible, he said smiling. Issei happily in a whisper would ask the angel for his request, who smiles and points his staff at the Saiyan, who would be surrounded by a golden glow. After a few seconds he would return to normal. Whis. It's done, young Hyoudou. Issei. Thank you very much, Mr. Whis, he said this happily. The girls wondered what their man asked for, but they didn't give it any importance. Vegeta. Listen well, insect, raise the name and honor of the Saiyans. Since you are one now, understood? Goku. I'm glad you're going down the path of good. You're a great person, Issei. I can see it in you. Issei. Thank you, Goku, and although you are not the Goku that I know, I respect you just the same. Goku. Thanks. Hey, if we need help against a strong enemy, can we come ask you for help? Issei. Of course, I would be happy to help you and test my strength against strong enemies, he said excitedly. Goku. Great, so Issei, see you again. They both shake hands as a sign of farewell. Iris. Very good, child, we will see each other another time. I will be watching you from the shadows to see your actions. Whis. Well, young Hyoudou, I hope to see you soon. Until next time. And without further ado, everyone crosses the portal, returning to their respective dimensions. Once the portal closes, the teenagers were left in the room. Erica. Well, it's been a day full of surprises, right? Ignia. Other dimensions. Bekeno. Timelines with different stories. Rias. And the legacy of a great hero. She looked lovingly at a red dragon. At that moment, the roar of a beast much worse than Trahexa itself is heard, which echoed throughout the room. Issei. Haha, now that all that pressure has passed, my stomach is asking me to eat. Excuse me, girls, don't you have something to offer me? The girls laugh lightly at their man's jokes, so they all head to the dining room for a great super exaggerated banquet of heavenly dishes, where Issei mercilessly destroys everything, taking one from his women, because they still don't get used to the situation. Way of eating of the Saiyans. Once the brutal food genocide by the security was over, he went to the showers to clean his body. Issei. Ugh, better. This one with a towel around his waist was heading to his room, but at the door he would find a note. Issei. Huh. And that. Behind this door is your reward for the hard battle that you fought until the end, our beloved security. It was what he read in the note. This confused man opens the door, he sees the lights off, and when he turns them on his eyes almost pop out of hhis face because of what he saw. Rias. Issei. Bekeno. Issei-kun. Ignia. Darling. Erica. My beloved. Note. El Macho. Issei. This.is. Nirvana. Greg. I don't think this is Nirvana. The only thing that was known about that night is that many female screams and moans of pleasure were heard. The most powerful security in history and eternity did not know the word mercy that night for 13 hours. Girls. Issei. Hex is the best thing in this world. The next day, all the girls were cured of their legs thanks to a small transfer of Kai from the Saiyan. After that they had breakfast and went to the academy. Rias with her powers was in charge of erasing the memory of the students and teachers of Issei's existence. And Erica, in order to start over again, the Saiyan and the blonde with their new appearances, they felt uncomfortable about introducing themselves again, but they both received the looks of lovers from the girls and boys in their classroom for the new forms of both. So, evading their new fans, they headed to the occult club. Ignia does not study at the academy. Once inside, Rias explained to Kiba and Kaneko what happened, greatly surprising them both. Kaneko. Issei-senpai has become incredible these days, she said as starting to look at the Saiyan with admiration. Kiba. Issei-kun, you really are very strong. Issei. Hahaha, come on, it's not that big of a deal, he said laughing with a hand behind his head. After a week, it was a quiet day at the academy, everyone was in the occult club, but Issei. No. The doors of the club flew into pieces, and then Issei with wild hair came out at full speed, running like a soul in pain, then climbed onto the nearest tree and held on tightly, while showing a face full of fear and horror. Rias. Issei. He and the others arrived, looking up, seeing him at the top of a very tall tree. Issei, do not exaggerate, you're making a fool of yourself, and it's no big deal. Bekeno. Issei-kun, please come down, there is also a warning of strong winds in the surrounding area. Fufufu, he said. He is laughing slightly at the situation. Kaneko. Senpai. Are you serious? She said this with a poker face. Kiba. Issei-kun, please don't take this so seriously. Erika. Issei, my love, please come down, you can't be serious. Ignia. I don't know whether to feel sorry or ashamed for my darling. V. Rias. Issei, you didn't use that expression before because of this. Please get down from that tree. This is done every 5 months at the academy for our health. Get off that tree, it's not that big of a deal, she said with her face red with shame. Issei. I don't like injections. After a superhuman effort of 2 hours to convince him to come down from the tree, he painfully accepted the vaccine and then let out a loud scream that was heard throughout the city. In that everyone noticed that in the week that passed Issei showed great progress in your academic grades. Rias. Incredible seeing the Saiyan's grades, all your exams have 100, you have improved a lot Issei, you even surpass Ona's scores. Issei. Do you think so? Which may be. He said, looking away because of his nerves. Did anyone notice that? Bekeno. Issei-kun, you are hiding something, right? Tell us what it is. Issei. Well, Rias. Oh yeah? What are you hiding, Issei? Erika. Come on love, tell us what it is. Ignia. Darling, say it. She kissed the Saiyan on the cheek. Everyone stared at the Saiyan, who had no choice. Issei. Sigh. Okay, I'll say it. Before Goku and the others returned to their dimension, I asked Mr. Whis to increase my mental abilities to the level of Son Gohan, Goku's son, that's why my grades increased. He said laughing. Everyone was surprised by the Saiyan's confession, but they only thought of one thing. Girls. Kaneko. Kiba. Trickster. After a few days Issei's grades were outstanding in all subjects, this caught the attention of the academy board, so they made a decision. Akeno headed to the club. Akeno. But you, look at this, he said with an envelope in his hands. Rias. What's wrong, Akeno? He said he is taking the envelope. She would open it and read it, and then the beautiful Reed would have a face of total shock. Rias. Call Issei, he should know, she said with a serious face. After a few moments the Saiyan appears in the club room, at which point the beautiful girls tell the Saiyan about his situation, making him overexcited. Issei. Really? It is not a joke? He exclaimed, very surprised. Akeno. Fufufu, it's not Issei-kun, it's true. Rias. As you heard Issei, you have been chosen for a 2-week school transfer, she said smiling, because of your perfect grades, the academy board decided to choose you for this, you will be in a different academy for a period of 2 weeks, to demonstrate that you are a high-level student from Kuo Academy, she said without removing her smile. Issei. This. Wow, he was the only thing he could say, and. When does this start? Bekeno. You start tomorrow, Issei-kun, she said. She is smiling. After everything was cleared up, everyone returned to the Saiyan's home where they found the others, and when night came there was no shortage of the daily session of 100% uncontrolled and unlimited pleasure and lust of the Saiyan and his girls. The next morning the Saiyan was in his home. He was preparing for his departure. Issei. This is much more uncomfortable than the academy uniforms. Bekeno. Fufufu, don't move so much, Issei-kun, said the black-haired woman adjusting the Saiyan's tie. After a few moments everything was ready, the Saiyan was in the uniform of that academy. His girlfriends when they saw him only thought of one thing. Cute. Rias. It will be difficult to be without you for 2 weeks, you know. He said with a sigh. Issei. Time will fly by, you'll see, he said smiling. Bekeno. Fufufu, I will miss you a lot in these 2 weeks, Issei-kun, especially here, he said, grabbing a certain area of the Saiyan. Issei. Yes of course, he said blushing. Erika. Sarah Noyoso senza di Tiamor, he said. He is giving a sigh. Issei. Come on, like I said 2 weeks fly by. Ignia. There is no other option, I have to wait, she said, resigned. Issei. Well. Time to go. The 4 girls gave the Saiyan a kiss which he gladly accepted, so he headed to the academy he was designated for. Issei. Let's see. He sees a map in his hands. Well, there's no one around. Nope, there's no one around. To fly. The Saiyan takes out his wide aura and begins to fly to the designated academy. After 15 minutes he arrives at his destination. He sees the academy from the heights and is left speechless. Issei. This is not an academy. It's a damn city. He descends into an area without people so as not to be seen, so the Saiyan enters through the entrance of the academy. The students of the place upon seeing him begin to murmur, but the murmurs were more on the part of the girls, thus the Saiyan puts on a little uncomfortable and quickens his pace. Once inside the student institution he goes to the address where he talks to the director telling him about the exchange, so he gives him the address to appear at the student council. The Saiyan nods and leaves, but he thinks at the director, since his Kai was not so common, for the moment he does not give it importance and continues with his matter, but he remembers that the director told him to wait a few moments since the new leader of the student council was being elected, so he has no choice but to accept. After about 10 minutes he sees how all the students go to their respective classrooms, so he knows that the meeting is over, so he heads to the student council. Once this one arrives and knocks on the door, receiving a pass from the other side, so he enters. Issei. Excuse me, I'm the exchange student, they asked me to talk to you to discuss the matter, he said respectfully. Hyoudou. Issei. Right. It's a pleasure, because it's the first day for both of us, eh? I start as the new leader of the student council from now on, and you enter this academy for 2 weeks, correct? I hope my expectations of you are what I read about your abilities at Kuo Academy. I introduce myself, I am the new leader of the student council. Medaka. I am Kurakami Medaka, new leader of the student council. Welcome to Hakanua Academy. You have every right to call me Medaka-chan. A pleasure, Issei-kun. Chapter 17. An admirable president. After both of them had introduced themselves, and it was clear that they would get along very well due to their cheerful and positive attitudes, President Kurakami Medaka decided to speak. Medaka. Well, Hyoudou-kun, as you should know, a few moments ago the election for the new leader of the student council took place, which came out as the winner, and now I have a great responsibility in my hands. I know we barely know each other, but I need your help. Do you think you can do it? Issei. Of course, what do you need, Kurakami-san? Medaka. Well. 10 minutes later. Issei. Wow, she is really dedicated to her new position, he thought, looking at the new president of the student council in amazement. Yes, they had both started with the most stressful part of the job. The paperwork 1. Issei. Now possessing Gohan's mental capacity, that job would be very easy for her. She even solved them at great speed, but the beautiful blue-haired woman far surpassed her. After about 2 hours, it was finally finished. Issei. Ugh, it's finally over, she said happily, stretching out her arms. Medaka. Yes, it really was a challenge, and I am impressed, Hyoudou-kun. You have managed to address this matter at a different level than normal. In my opinion, you exceed the expectations that were seen in your report. You are surprising, she said, smiling at the Saiyan. Issei. Thank you, but I'm not as amazing as you, Kurakami-san. The blue-haired girl noticed how the Saiyan was smiling at her, which confused her. Medaka. What's wrong, Hyoudou-kun? Issei. Oh, nothing, it's just that you have just started your work as president of the student council of your academy, and I saw how you were very dedicated on the first day of your new position. Many know that the position as president of the student council is something stressful, and it takes away time from what you want, but notice how you ignore those things. I have really seen in these 2 hours how you were an admirable person who does not give up on anything. You are amazing, Kurakami-san. Adam. A small rumble was present in the chest of the Pelazol, who put her hand on her chest. Well, she saw the Saiyan smile at her. She admitted it. That smile he gave her was very pretty, and she also noticed that the man in front of her was very attractive. In addition to the fact that the uniform she is wearing is somewhat tight, showing the thick body she has, she begins to blush slightly. Medaka. Thank you, Hyoudou-kun. At that point they both hear the ringing of the bell, which indicated the time of recess. Issei. Well, I think I'll use the break to get to know this place. To me, this looks more like a city than an academy, he said it, laughing nervously with his hand on the back of his head, Goku style. A click occurred on the blue-haired girl's head, who, smiling, approached the Saiyan to take him by the hand. Medaka. In that case, come on, I'll show you the entire academy, she said, smiling without letting go. What's wrong with me? I don't usually act like that. Issei. Of course, you guide me and I will follow you, Kurakami-san, he said, smiling at her. Medaka. Don't say something like that, and stop smiling like that, I implore you. Control yourself, Kurakami Medaka. Then come on, Hyoudou-kun. His actions didn't respond to his thoughts, and he didn't want to. In this way, they both left the student council room, and Medaka began to show the Saiyan various places in the academy. Many women in the academy began to dreamily see the Sakurchite because of how attractive he was, in addition to his physique. Medaka. She noticed this and unconsciously made a face, so without any permission she clung to the Saiyan's arm, which Issei didn't care about at all. So Medaka accelerated her pace and showed Issei many places in the academy. The Saiyan I was impressed to see everything that Hakanua Academy offered. Kuo Academy definitely could not compare in any way to this institution. Obviously I was not going to say this in front of Rias, because otherwise, when the break ended, Issei had only known half of the academy, but at least she couldn't get lost in this place anymore. So when both of them enter the student council office, Medaka notices an envelope in a particular box. It was the petition box for the council. The beautiful woman takes the envelope and begins to reading it. Medaka. Hyoudou-kun, we have a mission, she said, looking at the envelope. Issei. Sure, but why are you in underwear? Breg. For more partner pleasure, he said, speaking in his internals to the Saiyan. Issei. Pleasure? Pleasure of what? I asked, confused. Breg. Forget it, he said, cutting the mental communication. Madaka, ignoring the Saiyan's question, answered. Madaka. Apparently there are problems with a group of third years that usually waste time lazing around a lot. Their location is in the Kendo dojo. We will accept the request. We will leave in 20 minutes, he said, smiling. And in answer to your question, it is a small habit that I have. The clothes at the academy are usually very hot. That's why I take them off when I'm alone. I hope this fact about me doesn't bother you. I wasn't ashamed at all. Issei. Not at all, he said, smiling. In fact, you could say that I'm used to it, he said it, remembering Ria's habit of falling asleep naked, a habit that Akeno recently picked up on. Oh, well, that being the case, then I also take off my clothes. Clothes, don't take this the wrong way, but your academy's uniform makes me feel uncomfortable, and it's a little tight, so, excuse me. He started to undress. The brunette had her eyes wide open because of what she was seeing in her eyes. She couldn't believe it. That body that the Saiyan was showing was for her. Majestic, no, not majestic, it was divine. She felt a suffocating heat that began to flood her body, but with a little sense she still had from what she saw. Madaka. No. Issei. Huh. Madaka. You can't. Alright, I'll get dressed again, but please get dressed again, she said, turning around. Issei. Is this okay? What's wrong with him? He asked himself, confused. The brunette who had turned around had a white handkerchief on her nose, but it didn't take 10 seconds for it to turn red. Just seeing half of the Saiyan's well-formed abdomen made her mind go crazy. White, in addition to a massive blush. After a few moments later, both young people arrived at the requested Kendo dojo. Madaka asked the Saiyan to just observe the situation, so that he would understand how she solved the problems, which he accepts, so they both opened the door, finding a group of students who by their faces looked more like criminals. Madaka was wearing Kendo outfits, while Issei, unfortunately for him, continued wearing the school uniform. He preferred to wear the Kendo outfit 1,000 times over what he had on. They also noticed that the Kendo dojo was a complete disaster. Madaka. Hyoudou-kun, we arrived. This place is really run down. The current new members didn't do a good job, she said, looking at the very dirty Kendo room with a disappointed face. Boy. Oh. Who the hell are you? He said intimidatingly. Madaka. I belong to class 1-3, and I have recently been selected as the president of the student council. I am Kurakami Madaka. Due to a request to the student council, I have come to take action on the matter due to your behavior, she said, smiling while waving a fan. Boy. Ah yes, I heard about you. You are the strange but hot new girl of the student council. It is surprising that you had the courage to show up in a place like this. 98% of votes that made you the president of the student council. Bad news, all of us in this room are the remaining 2% who voted against your selection, he said, pointing a wooden katana at him. The security just watched everything that happened in silence, maintaining his promise not to intervene. Madaka. Okay, this Kendo sword is well preserved despite the time that passed. The former members were indeed dedicated to this discipline, he said with the katana in his hands, analyzing it. Boy. What? He seized his hand, noticing the absence of his sword. At what moment did you take it from me? This who saw this made a slightly serious face. The speed at which the academy maid moved was unnoticeable to the common eye. Issei. For a few milliseconds I felt Kai coming out of her. What are you hiding, Kurakami-san? I thought, looking at the blue-haired girl. Boy. It was just luck, catch them all. The bandalos surrounded the blue-haired girl. Madaka. Gangsters, criminals, lazy people. I see you have a small group of rule breakers, right? But hey, I have no power to judge them, she smiles, that's why. At that time, at great speed, the blue-haired girl passed by all the Kendo subjects until she was behind them, but she had something in his hand. Madaka. Even things like this are part of my duties as president of the student council, she said with a tray full of cigarette boxes, which she later throws into a trash can. The Saiyan felt the brunette's energy emerge from his body again, something that caught his attention more. On the other hand, Issei. If this woman were from Kuo, Sona would have easily lost her position as student council president, he thought, laughing nervously. On the other hand, more precise in Kuo. Sona. She had a chill. Tsubaki. Kaichu. Is something wrong with you? Sona. No, but for some reason, I felt for a few moments that my future at the academy was in danger. She said it with a cold sweat running down her forehead. Returning to Hakanua Academy. Madaka. Gentlemen, if you continue with that attitude, rest assured that your future will not be the one you want, she said, fanning herself with her fan. Furthermore, I feel dismayed that they have destroyed a place as glorious as the Kendo Club. Boy. Are you giving us a lecture? You have no rights, I speak with anger. Madaka. I really pity you, gentlemen. At some point you must have been good people, but the filth of the world must have consumed you. But don't worry. She began to expel a little of the energy from her. Of course this was noticed by the most powerful security of eternity, but she remained silent. Madaka. I will turn you into better people. I will turn you into men who are dedicated to the art of kendo, but first. Be disciplined and re-educated by the art of the sword. And in that, Madaka at great speed less for Issei and with a wooden sword in hand, begins to hit all the bandalos in the back of the head, leaving them unconscious and with their eyes blank. She was suddenly in front of the Saiyan, who was looking at the girl as if nothing had happened. Madaka. We finished phase 1 Hyoudou-kun, she said smiling at the Saiyan. Goku. That's what I see, it was amazing, you are very skilled Kurakami-san, you are someone worthy of respect, you are simply incredible, she said with the smile inherited from Goku. The Kurakami had blushed at the Saiyan's words, and even more so at seeing her smile, it was simply irresistible for her to see that smile. Madaka. Thank you very much for your words Hyoudou-kun, I'm so glad you think that way about me, she felt that her heart was dancing inside. Issei. You're welcome, I just told the truth, she said without removing her smile. Madaka. Good, it's time for phase 2 of our mission. Issei. Sure. And which one is it? Madaka. It's around us with the naked eye Hyoudou-kun. Phase 2 will be, clean this place, we must leave this place. As the day she opened its doors for the first time, she said a little seriously and with different clothes. Issei. At what point did it change? Thought with a sure, but before that, it would be better to take these guys outside, so that they don't interrupt our work. I'll take care of this, I'll leave them under a tree there outside, so they are more comfortable. The beautiful woman nodded in agreement with this, so Issei, using his strength, carried the unconscious rebel students on his shoulders like a sack of potatoes, surprising the blue-faced girl with his strength as he watched Issei leave through the door. Madaka. I shouldn't be surprised, with the great body I saw in the office, it is clear that this is easy for Hyoudou-kun. In addition to that very well-formed body, a thread of saliva began to fall from his lips when he remembered the Saiyan with the torso naked in the air. No, what are you thinking about? Focus on the current task, Madaka, she mentally lectured herself with a blush on her cheeks as she remembered that. After a few moments, the Saiyan had left all the unconscious students in a safe area to rest. He returned with the blue-haired girl who was waiting for him with a smile, so they both began their work of cleaning the kendo dojo room. While they cleaned, Madaka realized that the Saiyan did everything very quickly. Being slightly surprised by this, Issei realized how the blue-haired girl saw him. So he investigated the cause of this, so he slowed down doing his job in a more normal way, hoping that the president of the student council does not notice their abilities. After about 2 hours, both had finished their work. Madaka. Yes, it's just like the day this dojo opened, he said with a satisfied smile. Issei. Well, you can see the difference, those guys really had the place turned into a garbage dump, he said it, amazed by the current appearance of the place. After having finished their work, both would return to take their respective classes. By sunset, both young people were on the roof of the academy contemplating the sunset. Madaka. It's beautiful, right Hyoudou-kun? He said, seeing the Saiyan smiling. Issei. Of course, for being my first day, it has been very entertaining, I'm already looking forward to seeing what else awaits me in the coming days, he said with a smile. Madaka. That's the attitude, I'll make sure you have a good time in the days you'll be at Hakanua Academy, I promise, she said, sure of her words. Issei. Well, I can't wait, she said, looking at the brunette. By the way, can I ask you a question, Kurakami-san? Madaka. What is it about? Issei. I know very well the laws that imply being part of the student council, but what you did today is not something that a member of that area would do. What I want to get at is, why do you do something that is not in your duties? The silence reigned in those moments. The Saiyan felt uncomfortable by that sudden environment. Issei. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable, it's just that. Madaka. Don't worry Hyoudou-kun, you didn't bother me with your question, I know I can trust you, and that's why, answering it, he took a deep breath to start talking. Madaka. I want to know what my place is, the reason why I was born. This one saw the sunset. Issei. Reason? I asked, confused. Madaka. Yes, you see. Since I can remember, I have always had abilities above average, so passing any training test has always been very easy for me. I have never found a challenge. Another person would think that this would be the best thing that could have happened to them, but it is not like that. The reality is very far from what one thinks it is horrible, always excelling in everything without finding a flaw or defect. They came to consider me a perfect person. At some point that's why I started to lose the value that life has. Issei. Kurakami-san. That explains why I managed to solve the problems of the different subjects in the classes very quickly, he thought, looking at the girl. Madaka. But I did not give up, I did not let this perfection affect me. I began to use these abilities to discover what is my reason for being in this world, what is my reason for living, and to this day, I am still looking for the answer. Issei could feel pain in the girl's words. He never thought that someone as happy and lively as her would have a mishap like this, but the Securite smiled at her as he said. Issei. If you allow me, Kurakami-san, with everything I saw today, it is clear why you are here. The brunette looked at the Saiyan with amazement, paying attention to what she was going to say. Madaka. Really? And which one is it? What is the reason why I am in this world? Issei. It's very easy, you were born to help others. The woman was surprised by the Saiyan's words. Medaka. Help others? Issei. That's right, after everything I saw about you today, I realized that no matter what problem it is, you will always try to solve them without failing. You want everyone to be happy and not have problems in their lives, let them see the good things that life has, and that is very noble of you Kurakami-san. Yo, you were born to help others, the Saiyan fixes his gaze on the sunset. The girl had been totally surprised and speechless by what came out of the Saiyan's mouth. She followed his gaze watching the sunset. She could feel the wind touching her face, feeling a great sensation of peace, a sensation that the answer what I had been trying to look for years ago. It had finally been found. The brunette smiled as she saw the Saiyan with a small blush and feeling her heart thunder again. Medaka. Do you know anything, Hyoudou-kun? I don't know if it was destiny or some deity that wanted you to come here, but I know it was for a reason, and that was to help me. Just the first day was enough for you to be able to resolve the question I have been searching for. Answer years ago. And that's why. The Saiyan only turns his gaze to the girl, only to see how she rushed towards him. And she wraps him in a strong, warm hug while she told him. Medaka. Thank you very much, Hyoudou-kun. Issei had been surprised by the girl's action, but he just smiled as he reciprocated her hug, caressing the girl's head. Issei. There is nothing to thank, Kurakami-san, it was good to have helped you with your problem, she said, smiling at him. Medaka. Thank you anyway, and by the way, I told you when we introduced ourselves that you could refer to me as Medaka, I said, pouting. Issei. Well, that's fine, Medaka-chan, then that being the case, you can refer to me simply as Issei, he said, looking at the girl. Medaka. Thank you very much, Issei, she said, smiling at him with a blush. I hope these 2 weeks that I will be here pass very slowly, she thought, without releasing the Saiyan from the hug. In this way, the Saiyan's first day ended in a different academy where he would make a difference. Chapter 18 Tasks of the Student Council and an Appointment. A few days had passed since the talk between Saiyan Issei and the beautiful Student Council President Kurakami Medaka. Hakanua Academy was so prestigious that it had dormitories for outstanding students and exchange students, so our Securite was granted a room for his stay and time limit that he will be at the academy. It is currently 5:30 a.m. and we see our Saiyan at the entrances of the academy. He looked excited. Issei. Ugh, very good, it's time for a light training, he said it, smiling and wearing a red sport suit. He did some stretches before starting his routine, so he started running, but just after running 5 meters someone called him. Issei. Issei. Oh. He turns around and is surprised to see a certain blue-haired girl a few meters away from him. Issei. Medaka. How are you? What are you doing at this hour at the academy? I ask with doubt and interest. Medaka. One of the responsibilities of being on the student council is that you must always arrive first than others to set an example, he said, smiling. And you? Where would you go? I ask, curious, seeing the Saiyan's outfit. Issei. Oh well, I was just going to train. Since I arrived at this academy I haven't been able to do it because I don't know much about the surroundings, but now that I know most of it, I can resume my routines, he said with his hands on his waist, without removing his smile. This surprised the girl. Medaka. Do you train, Issei? Issei. Yup, it is my daily routine to go out at this time to train, or rather it has been since I have this body. I always have the desire to go out at this time to train without knowing why. I thought about the last thing with A. These words left the blue-haired girl even more amazed. She did not expect to meet someone so dedicated to keeping her physique and health in good shape. Medaka. I don't know why I'm surprised, I should expect it seeing the body he has. He thought about it with a blush, but an idea came to his head. Issei, could you wait for me for about 10 minutes? I would say it with his face. I would like to accompany you in your routine, is that possible? The Saiyan would be slightly surprised by this, but then he gives the blue-haired girl a smile. Issei. Sure, I have no problem with it. Medaka. Yeah, I will be back in 10 minutes, I'll go change, he said, entering the academy to leave his things and change. The Saiyan only smiles because of the girl's positive attitude. As the minutes passed he decided to continue warming up. After a few moments he heard some footsteps behind him. He turned around and smiled immediately. Medaka. I'm ready, Issei, how do I look? He said it wearing a red suit almost the same as Issei's and with a headband. Issei. You look very good, Medaka, I can see that you like to stay in shape. He said it without any perversion, seeing the girl's body that was a little tight for the suit he was wearing. The brunette smiled with a slight blush on her cheeks as he approached the Saiyan. Medaka. The truth is that I usually do this routine every weekend, but I think I'll make an exception for today, he said, smiling at the black-haired man. Issei. I understand, are you ready? Medaka. Of course. So both of them, smiling at each other, began their routine running around the academy. In this way they both ran around the entire academy for about 1 hour. This is how they both looked in a water trough. Issei. Ah, that felt good, he said, wetting his face. Medaka. That was a good routine, Issei. Wow, it's the first time someone can keep up with me, I think, with surprise. And it was not a lie, because on the weekends when she did her routines she used to meet some students from the academy who also did exercise routines, so they all ran together, but Medaka, because of her abnormal metabolism, was always the first to be in front of the others, and the other girls were very tired, so most of the time she was forced to reduce her speed, but even so, the students were exhausted. After a slight rest they both returned to the academy. The students who entered the academy saw how the beautiful president of the student council and the new temporary exchange boy entered together with sport suits, but this did not matter to both of them. Although they both heard comments like that they were a nice couple, that they looked good together, and that they were the most popular duo in the academy, these rumors made the brunette blush slightly, but it didn't bother her, while Issei felt somewhat uncomfortable. Upon hearing these things, after a slight temporary farewell, they both took separate paths to go to the men's and women's bathrooms to clean themselves in the shower and change. After a few moments, the already changed Issei heads to the student council office to begin his work, and upon entering he finds his temporary president, Issei. Hyoudou. Issei introducing himself to his butchu duties, he said animatedly. Medaka. Young Hyoudou, let's make this a magnificent day, he said, playing along since he thought it was funny. Issei. Hi, by the way, Medaka. Medaka. What's wrong, Issei? I ask, looking at him. Issei. Have you thought about installing your own shower in the council room? Medaka. What? A shower? Inside an office? Issei. Yup, this way when you need a bathroom you wouldn't have to go to the academy bathrooms, but you could do it right here. The president of my academy club did it and it's very practical, plus you could make it happen because of your position. This surprised the blue-haired girl. Medaka. A shower? Inside an office? Did your president seriously do something like that? Issei. Yes, he said without removing his smile. Medaka. A shower? Inside an office? That's it. That is. Issei. Did the idea seem ridiculous to you? He thinks nervously because of the girl's look. Greg. Of course it must seem ridiculous. Who the hell in their right mind would do something like that? Oh no, wait, I know Rias Gremory, hahaha, he said, laughing in the Saiyan's mind. Issei. Hey, it was just a suggestion, also don't insult Rias, he said, a little annoyed with the dragon inside him. The Saiyan was about to argue with the Welsh dragon, but, Medaka. That's a fantastic idea, Issei, she said excitedly. Issei. Really? I ask, surprised. Greg. What? I exclaim with my jaw open at what I hear. Medaka. That's a great idea, a shower in the office. What a great idea, this way we would save a lot of time in many ways. Your president is a genius. How I would like to meet her and shake her hand. She is a revolutionary. Gokú Academy, the cult club. Rias was seen reviewing some papers, but, Rias. She would laugh slightly. Bekeno. Is something wrong, butchu? She would ask, confused when she saw her friend laughing out of nowhere. Rias. I don't know why, but out of nowhere I felt flattered. After this, the Redeed would continue with her business while Priestess Lightning helped her. Returning to Hakanua Academy, after a light chat, Issei for a suggestion. Sent to the student council's order box, he went to help in a matter that involved his presence. After completing said matter he would go back to the council office, but he would pass through the academy pool. Issei. How disgusting, someone should clean this, I would say, looking at the greenish waters of the pool. But then the waters of the pool would move until a splash appeared and Issei would be amazed by who it was. Issei. Me, Medaka. Medaka. Ah, hello, Issei. Issei. What are you doing inside that dirty pool? I would ask while holding his. Medaka. We received a request to clean the pool for the swimming events that are soon to arrive, so here you see me, complying with the request, he said it as if it were nothing. Issei. I see. Issei decided to stay and help her, for which she gladly thanked her. After about 30 minutes, the pool was already blue and beautiful, and the two boys were very dirty. Issei. Wakala, he said, looking at himself. Medaka. But the effort was worth it, he said, as if nothing had happened, with a big smile. Issei. She is very positive about everything, thought, laughing nervously. Both ignoring the students' comments about their dirtiness, they arrived at the student council office, and upon entering the Saiyan was surprised by what he saw, while Medaka had a big smile. Medaka. What do you think, Issei? On the right side of the office was a new, state-of-the-art shower installed and ready to use. Issei. It's incredible, but how? I wasn't there this morning. Medaka. While we were doing our work, I asked the academy's builders to install a shower in the office, and here it is, plus I paid them more for the speed of the work. Issei. Yes, you are incredible, Medaka, he said, smiling at the brunette. Medaka. Phew, well thank you, Issei, and now it's time to clean up. Issei. Huh? Do you want me to come in with you? I ask with doubt. Medaka. I don't see the problem, I know I can trust you, and you won't do anything wrong, he said, smiling at the Saiyan. Issei. I understand, well thank you. So they both went into a brand new shower. While they were bathing, Medaka felt super tempted to touch our protagonist's muscular body, so an idea came to her mind and she told Issei that she could wash his back, to which he accepted without any problem, leaving the woman delighted, who while touching the warrior's back or arms had an unparalleled sensation, she had to admit it. Touching the muscular body of the boy who was bathing with her felt heavenly, while a great fever flooded her body. Issei wanted to return the favor and told Issei that he wanted to do the same with her, to which she blushed and gladly accepted. She could feel an electric shock run through her body when she felt the Saiyan's hands on her back or her arms, and sometimes the Saiyan's hands would touch her breasts, something that began to excite her, but she contained herself by biting her lips. Unfortunately, the Saiyan was carrying a towel around his waist, so the girl could not appreciate what he was seeing. The Saiyan was hiding underneath, but he thought that was the best, since if not, he would not be able to bear it and would end up fainting. After finishing his bath, they both got dressed, and Medaka found a new suggestion in the order box of the student council. Medaka. Interesting, this read the request. Issei. New mission. Medaka. Indeed, they ask us to find a little dog that has been separated from his owner. He says that he got lost at the academy during the winter holidays. Yosh, I will personally take this mission, she said determinedly. Issei. I would like to go, no problem. I asked smiling. Medaka. Not at all, let's go, Issei. After a few moments later, she would see the Saiyan with a note while he walked until he found something that disconcerted him. Issei. Huh? That is? He asked confused, seeing the note and seeing the dog. That's not a small dog at all, he said it with a. He didn't feel afraid at all, he just sighed as he approached the dog, which began to growl as he saw the Saiyan approaching, but Issei ignored this and got closer to the dog, but at that. Medaka. Good, I'm ready. Issei, upon hearing the voice of the blue-haired girl, would turn around, but when he did so he would become even more confused when he saw the blue-haired girl. Issei. Me Medaka. Medaka. How do I look for the Issei mission? Issei. You look well. Greg. Do hahaha partner, why didn't you tell me that we were already close to Halloween? I need my costumes hahaha, he said in his mind to the bear, laughing himself to death. Issei. Shut your mouth, Drag. Don't be mean, he said, angry at the dragon's words from him. Medaka. HMP, I thought so, now let's start. The blue net would approach the dog little by little. Medaka. He is very cute despite being big. Issei would smile to see that the blue-haired girl was someone who liked animals, but in that case, a strange disturbance would occur in Issei's eyes. Issei. What is this? I feel something evil in the air. The blue net would approach the dog, which was looking at the girl. Medaka. Come on puppy, come with me, I'll pet you, I'll hug you, I have a lot of love to give you. At that, in Issei's eyes, a black aura would come out of Medaka's body which looked very threatening. Issei. I feel an evil Kai coming out of Medaka. But it's not hers, I think very seriously. The very frightened dog would run away, reaching the security and standing behind him while he trembled. Issei would only start petting him to calm him down, which barely worked. The dog looked traumatized. The blue-haired girl would only comically fall to the ground before the black-haired man's serious gaze. Issei. The evil presence disappeared, but what was that? He thought very seriously about what happened. A few moments later, in the student council office, you could see the two young people who had returned. Issei. Medaka-chan said with a nervous smile. The blue net was under her desk still dressed like she was a while ago. Medaka. Cuckoo. Happened again, said with a sad voice. Issei. Huh? What are you talking about, Medaka? He asked with slight interest. The blue net would remain silent for a few moments, but knowing that she could trust the Saiyan, she decides to speak. Medaka. Since I can remember I have always been rejected by animals, and I don't know why. The same doesn't happen with people, but even so, I love animals a lot, but it seems that I am a kind of repellent for them. In terms simple. I don't get along with any animals, he said it in a very sad way. Issei would remember the evil presence that came out of the girl's body and became serious. Issei. Whatever is inside Medaka, it must be responsible for making her go through this suffering. I can't allow this. Soon I will have to tell her everything about myself to be able to help her. I thought about it seriously. Issei would be looking at the girl in a sad way. Apparently he is quite affected by this matter. He would think of something to cheer her up until something occurred to him. Issei. I don't think it will work, but I have nothing to lose by trying. Medaka. Medaka. What's wrong, Issei? She said she was already sitting in her chair, but with a sad voice. Issei. I feel bad for seeing you like this, so I propose something to you. How about after class we go somewhere to have fun, I would say with a smile. Medaka. Huh? Have fun? I asked confused. Issei. You know, go for a walk, go eat something, visit attractions, go to a park, so you forget what happened a few moments ago, he said with a smile. These words surprised the blue-haired girl, while a small blush appeared on her cheeks. Medaka. Is it like a date? She said with red cheeks. Issei. Well, if you want to see it that way, then yes, let's go on a date. The girl's heart started beating hard while he saw the Saiyan. He cared about her and wanted to do this to cheer her up, she would say with a big smile. Madoka. I would love that. Issei. Of course I want to go on a date with you. Issei. Great, so I'll see you outside the academy, okay? The brunette nodded excitedly, so they both continued with their school routines. Once classes were over, the Saiyan was seen in a nearby park, since that was the agreed upon place to meet. The Saiyan would wear an open orange jacket, under it he had a tight shirt showing his very worked body, he had baggy jeans and some sports shoes. Issei. What would that have been? I just hope Madoka takes it well when I tell her about me, she said it seriously. Madoka. Issei. The aforementioned would turn around and was surprised to see the girl. Madoka. I'm ready, how do I look? Issei was surprised by how the girl was. She had a dark blue jacket, underneath it she had a dark pink blouse, she was wearing tight jeans that made her shapely legs and perfect butt stand out, and she had boots with heels. A small blush appeared on her face. The Saiyan, what he is smiling at, would say. Issei. You look very good, Madoka, you are very pretty with that on, he would say it a little embarrassed. Blue-haired man with a blush on his cheeks would only take one of the Saiyan's arms while he looked him in the eyes and said. Madoka. Thank you, Issei, shall we go? Issei. Sure, he said animatedly. Thus both would leave for their date. The Saiyan had first taken the blue-haired girl to an amusement park where they visited many attractions, and with the Saya and skills, he won many prizes for the blue-haired girl, who she accepted delighted and blushing. After the attractions they went to a simple but elegant restaurant, where both succumbed to hunger and much more for the Saiyan. No joke, but Issei paid for everything thanks to the fact that before coming here, Rias had given him a black credit card, the unlimited, thus telling him that he would use it for his needs, for which he was grateful, which is why he could maintain his temporary stay at Hakanua Academy. By the way, Madoka was extremely surprised to see the Saiyan eat so many dishes, wondering in her mind how he could maintain such a figure without gain weight, but he left that aside, and rather this fact about the Saiyan made him laugh, and even more so when he saw the others with their mouths open at the sight of the most gluttonous Akirite in all of history. After finishing eating, Issei had planned to take the brunette went to an aquarium, but she remembered this morning's event, so she thought it wouldn't be a good idea, so she ruled out that option, and instead took Madoka to a movie theater where they watched a romantic movie. It went without saying. Issei was dying of sleep when watching that movie, but he had to endure it, so with a superhuman effort he managed to do it. They both went to many places that day, much more to clothing stores, which Issei got one for the things he bought the girl, but without any problem he paid. The sunset arrived, and the blue-haired girl was seen with some bags in hand, and the Saiyan who was smiling at her, and Madoka doing the same. Both were in the park where they met. Madoka. I really had a lot of fun, Issei, she said with a blushing smile. Issei. Me too, Madoka, it's very nice to be with you, he said, giving the smile he inherited from Goku. The brunette would blush more because of that, and then she would say. Madoka. I want to do something for what you did this day for me. Could you come a little closer? Issei. Huh? So that? I asked confused. Madoka. You just do it. The Saiyan, a little confused by the request, would accept, and when he was close to the blue-haired girl's face. The Saiyan received a short but deep kiss on the lips, which made him blush greatly. When the blue-haired girl separated with a blush comparable to Ria's hair, he would say. Madoka. That was for being so nice to me today, he said, touching his lips while he smiled. Issei. The Saiyan didn't know what to say. Madoka laughed slightly at this as he said. Madoka. Well, it's late, I have to go, see you tomorrow at the Issei Academy. After this he would give him a small kiss on the cheek while he turned around and ran away with a blush on his face. Only the Securite was left in the place, who touched his lips while he had a slight blush on his face. Cheeks. Greg. Well done, partner, you won the heart of another maiden, he said, sounding passive. Issei. I don't know what you're talking about, it was just a date, he said with a blush. Greg. Yes, aha, I believe you. Issei only ignored his dragon while giving a sigh, but he would have a small smile on his face, so he puts 2 fingers on his forehead and disappears from the place with teleportation, returning to the academy, more precisely in the dormitory they assigned him. Thus ending another day of the Saiyan in his temporary academy. Chapter 19 Friendly Combat, Revelations, Farewell. It had been 6 days since Issei entered Hakanua Academy. Currently the most powerful Securite in eternity was at a window, watching what was happening in the courtyard with a girl. This is not possible, I can achieve a 100-meter mark in 12 seconds. Madoka. Oh yes, it's not bad, however I can run an entire marathon in just 2 hours, so it would take me at least 17 seconds to complete the 100 meters. Issei. Was all that triathlon necessary? Greg. This human really makes me laugh, haha. The Saiyan did not respond since he continued to see everything that was happening. After a few moments later, after the matter was resolved, the Saiyan would return to the student council office. Madoka. Come back, Issei. Issei. Good job there Madoka-chan, he said smiling at her. Madoka. Thank you, apparently there are no requests at the moment, he said when he saw the empty request box. Issei. Yes, taking advantage of that, there is something I would like to ask you, he said standing up. Madoka. Oh, and what would that be? I asked very curiously. Issei took a deep sigh to finally say. Issei. I want you to have a battle with me, he said excitedly. Madoka. What? Greg. Idiot, how can you think of asking him for something like that out of nowhere? He screams inwardly at the stupidity of his bear. Madoka. I understand, I was already thinking that I should be the one to ask for it, she said calmly. Greg. What? Scream with Asako open. Issei. Really? He said excitedly. Madoka. Yes, to be frank, from the first time you came to this academy, I could feel something very powerful inside you that surprised me. From that moment I knew that you were not an ordinary person, but I didn't say anything because of the fact that you were not a bad person, he said, drinking his tea calmly. Issei was surprised when he heard that. Greg. Don't be so surprised, it was obvious something like that knowing that she is not as normal as she seems. Also, in her explanation of feeling something strong inside you, she must be referring to me, he said analyzing things. Issei. I see, now I understand, he said the only thing that came to mind. Madoka. So I should ask, Hyoudou Issei. Are you really? Issei, seeing that he had no choice, chose to be honest. Issei. You're right Madoka, I'm not as normal as you think. The truth is a red gauntlet appears on his hand. The truth is that I am the current security. This revelation greatly surprised the girl. Madoka. What? You are the current security? She had no words to describe her amazement. She had heard about 2 legendary dragons that challenged the god himself and other supernatural races, but in the end they ended up sealed inside contraptions known as sacred gears, weapons capable of killing the gods themselves, and now she was in the presence of one of those 2 legendary dragons, or rather bearer of said power. Issei. Surprised. She said with a slight smile. Madoka. Oh my god, yes you are the owner of one of the legendary dragons. You don't see that every day. To say I'm amazed is an understatement, she said, touching and analyzing the gauntlet carefully. Note. If she knew of her true power, what would her face? Better let's continue. After a few moments, the situation calms down, the Saiyan decides to speak. Issei. So Madoka. You would accept that fight with me? Rias Gremory 2.0 would think about it for a few moments, until he finally gives a slight smile. Madoka. Very good, I agree to fight you Issei. I am very curious to know the power of a legendary dragon. Issei. Great, he said excitedly. Madoka. But yes, it will be after classes finish, she said, giving her point. Issei. What? But Madoka-chan, I want to fight now, he said sadly with a child's face. Madoka. Please Issei-kun, don't make that face. Remember that studying is a fundamental part of the preparation of the human being. We cannot miss it. Let's wait until classes are over, okay? He said with a more tender face. Issei. Well, let's wait for classes to end, he said resigned at not being able to refuse the bluenet. Madoka. Then let's go back to class. She took the Saiyan dragon's arm and they headed towards his classroom. Once the hours passed, classes had ended Rima, so the sun was setting and there was no one in the academy, but in the backyard, you could see 2 people. These were Issei and Madoka. Issei. This will be epic, he said stretching his body. Madoka. I haven't fought in a while, I hope I remember how to do it, she said a little nervous but excited at the same time while she smiled. Issei. I can see that she also likes fights, he thought when he saw the girl. Greg. It's possible, I know it's a little late to say it but put red to that blue hair and we have a Rias Gremory sequel hahaha. Issei. Hey, each girl has the quality about her that makes her unique, none is more than the other, all of them are special for something. Madoka. Very good, she slaps her cheeks. I'm ready, come with everything Issei, she said in a fighting pose. Issei. Well, let's dance, she said in a fighting pose. Without waiting any longer, Madoka runs towards the Saiyan starting to deliver the first blow, which was stopped by the Saiyan, as if nothing had happened. Madoka. Oh, you are strong Issei, she said excitedly. Issei. You have no idea, he said smiling. Note. Seriously, you have no idea. The Saiyan gives a direct blow to the girl, who puts her arms in and crouches down to evade the attack. The Saiyan throws a light kick, obviously containing his strength to the girl, who barely avoids the attack, while backing away. Madoka. It's fast, he thought with a cold sweat at what he saw. Issei. Well Madoka, this was enough for the stretch, don't you think? Madoka. I think you're right Issei. At great speed, Madoka was in front of the Saiyan and hit him in the face, sending him flying a few meters away, although the truth is that Issei allowed himself to be hit on purpose to check the girl's strength, and he did. Surprised. Issei. He's on par with Rias, he thought when he saw the girl. Greg. No, she's not, I feel something very powerful inside her, whatever she has, she could defeat the Red Deed with little effort. Issei. Maybe, but Rias can become stronger, maybe if I train her she can bring out that potential that she has inside her, but I will discuss that later with her. Issei stood up while seeing the girl with a great smile. Issei. It's my turn, Medaka. Saying that, Issei in a 2x3 was already in front of the Pelazol, who was surprised at the speed of the spiky hair, but he didn't say more as he felt a sharp pain in his stomach. He looked down and saw a fist stuck in his chest. Her belly, then walked away while she put her hand on her stomach. Medaka. But at what moment thought with slight moans. She saw that Issei raised a hand in her direction, he just said. Issei. Fly. A small gust of wind came out of the Saiyan that sent the girl flying a few meters, colliding with a nearby tree. Issei. Did this happen to me? Thought with a Reg. No. He said simply. With Medaka, the girl gets up while she had some light scratches. Medaka. Incredible, air came out of her hands and sent me flying, but that felt more like a tornado. Issei. Issei. Yes, Mida. Boom. The holder of the boosted gear felt a strong blow to his face, the reason being that he lowered his level to be able to fight alongside the girl. Issei looks at the girl, as he does so he is surprised, but at the same time he worries. Medaka. Let's keep fighting, Issei. I feel my blood boil, and I want to get yours, he said with a half-psychotic look. Issei. Her Kai has changed, that thing inside Medaka is half controlling her, he thought seriously. Reg. Indeed, the girl's energy has changed. Issei continued to dodge the girl's attacks. He could see how the possessed girl began to get angry with frustration as time passed. Medaka launched a blow at Issei's face, but he stopped the blow with two simple fingers. Issei. I don't know who you are, but stop possessing my friend's body, leave Medaka alone. After saying that, he gives her a restrained blow to her face that sends her a few meters to the ground. The Saiyan just looked at her. Issei. I know you're still there, you've been causing Medaka a lot of trouble and suffering, so I kindly ask you to leave her alone once and for all, unless you want to deal with me. The girl just stood up while she looked at the Saiyan with total fury. Medaka. Don't believe so much. Disgusting human. A strong burst of energy came out of the girl's body as she created a small crack in the ground from the power she emanated. Issei. Incredible. She is suffering. A kind of transformation, he said astonished. This amazed man observes how the girl's hair begins to change color and her power increases. Issei. Whoa, her power increased, she's like a Super Saiyan, he said surprised. Reg. I don't think you should compare that form with a Super Saiyan, he said with a. The girl now transformed with a thicker voice addresses our protagonist. Medaka. Get ready, Issei, now I'll go with everything. Issei. That's not Medaka anymore. Reg. Welsh Dragon Balance Breaker. An enormous red glow covered the Saiyan to show itself to the Security in all its splendor. Issei. You wanted to see my power as Security, Medaka, well here you have it, he said through the helmet. Medaka had been slightly surprised by the transformation, but then she is back under his instincts. Medaka. Very well, in that case. Let's go with everything. Issei. Come for me, Medaka. The girl, giving a war cry, launches herself at the Security, who was waiting for her with crossed arms. When he was already close to her, she threw a direct blow at his face, but the Red Emperor Dragon was not even fazed by the attack. Issei. My turn. He just throws a finger at the girl's forehead and she flies away a few meters crawling on the ground. Issei. Very easy. Medaka. How did you do that? She said coughing up light blood. Issei. Easy, I'm stronger than you, she said without mincing words. This was like a bucket of cold water for the girl, or rather for the being that was inside her. The possessed Medaka began to rage uncontrollably while expelling power from her. Issei. She is drawing more power than she can control. If she continues like this, Medaka's body will suffer great consequences. I better finish this once and for all. She said seriously. In a flash the Saiyan was in front of the girl, who was amazed and scared by the speed of the Red Emperor Dragon, but without having time to think about anything else. Boom. The woman heard the sound of a blow. She looks down seeing a metal fist stuck in her stomach. She felt an indescribable pain while she quickly lost her transformation. Without further ado, Medaka fell unconscious to the ground, but before touching the floor, she is held by the Saiyan, taking her as a princess. Issei. I'll kill that thing Medaka has right now. Issei lays the girl on the ground while with a serious look, he puts a finger on the girl's forehead, thus entering her mental space. Medaka's mental space. Darkness was all Issei could contemplate with implicitness, but he was not alone. Issei. So you are the one who has made Medaka's life miserable these years, huh? You're going to pay for it. The grotesque being from the most horrible nightmares was in front of the Saiyan, looking at him with pure desires to kill. Roar. The beast launches itself to attack the Saiyan who, without any intention of playing, gives a strong kick to the monster's face, making him scream in pain while grabbing his face. He swore he heard that the bones of his skull had broken. Issei. I'm not going to play with you for a second, damn it, because of you, Medaka suffered more than one can imagine. No animal being approached her because of the fear that you influenced. She loves animals, but because of you, none of them came close to her. Came closer, that hurt her a lot, I realized that in a short time, but it's over. Medaka's suffering ends today. Issei gives a war cry, transforming into SSJ4. The monster, full of fury and without any reasoning, attacks the Saiyan. Issei just puts his hands together to say one thing. Issei. Daicho Kamehameha. A red Kamehameha shot towards the monster, which began to scream in pain while horrified as it saw how its hands and legs began to disintegrate rapidly, until finally, giving one last scream, the monster was eliminated, freeing Medaka from its grip. Suffering for years. Issei. It's over, she said, returning to normal. Issei simply concentrated to get out of the mental space. Outside. Issei opens his eyes seeing an unconscious Medaka who was beginning to breathe normally. Greg. Was it necessary to transform into SSJ4 to finish off that thing? You could do it even in base form. Issei. I know, friend, but you know, it's my favorite transformation and that he. Issei simply took the girl in his arms as he headed inside the academy. It was night, in the student council room, a girl with blue hair was seen, who was beginning to wake up little by little. The first thing he saw was Issei in a red and black suit smiling at him. Issei. Hello, said happily. Medaka. Issei said a little weakly. What happened? Issei. Well, I won the fight. That surprised the girl. Medaka. Really? But yes, now I remember little. You are really very strong, Issei, he said smiling at the Saiyan. Issei. Do you remember how everything went? I asked a little seriously. Medaka. Not really. I must have lost control again, right? He said with a bitter smile. I'm sorry, Issei, you saw a side of me that I didn't want you to know, he said sadly. Issei. That wasn't your Medaka, it was a kind of evil spirit that had lived inside you for years. That thing was responsible for your bad moments. Hearing that was really surprising for the girl, because she didn't know that information. Medaka. Wait, like a spirit? I asked, very confused. Issei. Just as you heard, but don't worry, that's over, he said smiling at the girl. Medaka. What are you talking about? Meow. The woman hears a meow, she looks down, and she is surprised. A small white kitten was on the girl's legs. This surprised her greatly, given the fact that her little one did not run away from her. Medaka. What? But how? Because. Why doesn't he run away from me? She said, very surprised. But she doesn't miss the opportunity, and she starts petting the kitten, because although it was hard to believe, it was the first time that Medaka touched a kitten. To an animal. Medaka. Like she said with a darkened look and a very low tone. Issei. I told you that problem was over. With my power, I took care of that thing that tormented you inside and eliminated it. You will never go through that again. The woman looks up and Issei is surprised when she sees her. Medaka. Did you free me? I am free. Am I really free from my curse? She said with tears in her eyes. Issei. Of course, I would never lie about something like that. Calm down, Medaka, you are free from your bad luck, she said, smiling at him in son style. Without waiting 1 second, the Saiyan is hugged tightly by the girl, who with endless tears coming out of her eyes, infinitely thanked the Saiyan. Medaka. Thanks Issei, thanks for helping me, thank you for freeing me. She couldn't stop crying with joy. The Saiyan just hugged her gently while calming her down. He felt happy to have helped this girl who was now his friend. After about 30 minutes, the girl had fallen asleep with the kitten in her arms. The Saiyan only saw her. Issei. She's cute, he thought when he saw Medaka sleeping. Greg. Oh. You also want her as a girlfriend, maid, I ask with grace. Issei. Don't be ridiculous, Drag, she's just my friend, he said with a. But then the Red Emperor Dragon hears his phone ringing, he takes it out, and when he sees who it was he is surprised. Issei. Oh, he's the director of this academy, so he called me. The Saiyan answers the phone, then Issei begins to talk to the director. As time passed, Issei's face began to turn surprised, shocked, and finally sad. Issei. Yes. I understand. Thank you, director. Okay, see you. He hung up the call. Greg. What's happening, partner? Issei. Apparently there was an error in my registration as a temporary exchange student. Instead of staying for 2 weeks, it should only be 1, he said sadly. Greg. That means. Issei. Yes, today is my last day here. There was a deep silence in the room. The Saiyan turned to see the girl who was still asleep. He gave her a sad smile. Issei. I would have liked to stay here longer, but it is no longer possible. This time I spent with you, Medaka, was great. The Saiyan grabs a blanket that was on the ground, and with it, he covers the girl from the cold wind. Issei. You are amazing, Medaka. Despite what you suffered these years, you never broke, and that makes you one of the most spectacular people I had ever met. I hope you never change. Take care of yourself and be happy. He would give her a soft kiss on the forehead, which would cause the girl to smile while she was sleeping. The Saiyan smiles in the same way and then leave the room. After a few moments, Issei was seen with a suitcase that contained his clothes and his books. He looks at the academy for the last time under the moonlight. Issei. Goodbye Hakanua Academy, thank you for everything. Goodbye Madaka, may you be very happy from now on, well, it's time to go home. He puts 2 fingers on his forehead. And he disappears from the place with his teleportation to return to his home in Kuo, along with his girls. Chapter 20 Goodbye Never. Issei had appeared inside his mansion. He would hear some noises in the room, so he would go to the place, and there he would find them. Rias. And checkmate, again. Bekeno. I lost again. Rias. I'm bored, it feels empty without Issei here, I want him to hug me, to kiss me, feel his warmth when we're in bed, this is unbearable. Bekeno. I wanted to, but nothing can be done except wait patiently, there's only 1 more week left, and we'll have it back fufufu. They were going to continue playing chess, but at that moment a familiar voice reached them both. Issei. Hello girls, I'm back. Upon hearing that familiar voice, they both turn in unison, and are surprised to see the Saiyan in front of them smiling at them, but without wasting time, they both get up and run to him to hug him tightly, knocking him to the ground, beginning to fill him with many kisses. Issei. Was it necessary for them to throw me to the ground? Thought with a Rias. Issei, but what are you doing here? There is still 1 week left until you come back, she said, confused but at the same time happy. Bekeno. Did you already miss us, Issei-kun? She said with a beautiful smile. Issei. Well, what happens was that. Thus the Saiyan told them about the misunderstanding of their school transfer, which was actually only 1 week and not 2, surprising both but at the same time making them happy to no longer have to wait for their loved one. Issei. By the way girls, where are Erika and Ignia? I don't see them anywhere, he asked, confused, looking everywhere. Rias. Well, Erika went to the forests for 3 days, leaving the city to train. She felt that she was getting weak, so she went to regain her strength. She returns tomorrow, while Ignia went to some forests to train. I don't know, he said something about perfecting his human form. Issei. I see, he said, understanding the matter. By the way, don't you have something to eat? It's just that I'm dying of hunger, she said, laughing slightly. Both girls also laughed at their Saiyan's occurrences, while nodding to guide him to the dining room. A few moments later, the Saiyan was placidly eating what his girl served him. Issei. As boesha felicioso, he said with his mouth full. Breg. Hey, be a little more polite, first chew your food and then talk. The Saiyan blinked twice, then swallowed what he had in his mouth in one go. Breg. Grrrrrrrrrrr, how disgusting. Issei. This is delicious, thanks girls, he said very happily. Rias. You're welcome, she said, giving his red warrior a kiss. When you're done eating, could you go to the room? There is something I want to show you, he said, smiling sensually. Issei. Huh? Show me something. Sure, no problem. Rias. Perfect, Akeno, come with me. Akeno. Hi Rias, I'm sorry, I'd like whatever you have in mind. Both girls went to the room, letting the Saiyan eat calmly. After about 15 minutes of having finished, he was satisfied, and he was now heading to the room. Greg. I better go to sleep, I don't want to hear his noises. Issei. Noises? What are you talking about? I asked, confused. Greg. Seriously, we must do something with the innocence that you inherited from Son Goku anyway. Good night, it was the last thing he said, so I wouldn't hear it anymore. Issei. I don't know what you're talking about, but hey, I better go into the room to see what the girls want. He was about to turn the doorknob, opening it and proceeding to enter the room, but to his confusion, the lights were off. Issei. It's dark, light, where are you? Here. He pressed the light button, and when he did so, he was extremely surprised by what he saw. Rias Akeno. We were waiting for you, Issei. Both beautiful girls wore very revealing and provocative bunny outfits, causing a familiar sensation in the Red Emperor Saiyan. Issei. Ah, girls, why are you dressed like that? I ask with slight nerves because of the sight. Akeno. Ara, isn't it obvious, Issei-kun? Rias. We will welcome you home, she said in a sensual way. They both just go with the Saiyan and take him by the hands to take him to bed, which he did, because he knew that something like this would happen when he returned home. I'll just say that they only had 3 hours to sleep, although they didn't show any regrets. It's been a week now, classes had recently ended, so now everyone was in the club room. Issei. The beach. Rias. That's right, after what happened with Raizer, we haven't had a moment of relaxation, so I decided that we should go to the beach, he said, smiling. We'll go out tomorrow. Akeno. Well, I do want to go. Erika. Why not? It sounds fun, I'm in. Kaneko. Hi, it was his approval. Hiba. Thank you, but no, I will have to reject the offer, President. I have plans for tomorrow, he said, apologizing. Visit my friends who are no longer with me. Rias. Don't worry, Hyoudou, what about you, Issei? Issei. I'm not interested, I think I'll stay home or go to some mountains to train. Rias. What a shame, and seafood is in season, it would taste delicious on the grill. We will all eat comfortably in the open sea, he said with a sly smile. Issei. Okay, now that I think about it, yes, I could use a break, especially since I fought against Son Goku recently. Hahaha, this guy fell into the trap. Rias. Well, since everything is decided, let's go prepare for tomorrow. Everyone nodded as they returned to their homes. The next day, Issei was seen going to the club room. Rias, Akeno and Erika went ahead to prepare what they needed. Issei now wore the fighting outfit almost always, he had gotten used to it. Issei. Ignia has not returned yet, I can feel her Kai, she is alone and in an uninhabited place, but she is fine, I hope she returns soon and finishes her improvement. She could go see him, but I'm sure she doesn't want to be bothered. So without further ado I entered the place. Issei. Good morning, it's time to go to the pla. He was silent because of what he saw. They were all half naked changing into their swimsuits for the trip when they saw the Seiya and they all blushed with sadness. Erika. Loved. Rias. Issei, don't you know how to play? She covered her parts. Akeno. Ara snooper Issei-kun. She was the only one whose grief went away quickly while she giggled. Issei. But what do they say? If we haven't seen naked people before, said this one with his hands behind his head. Rias. But those are very different things. Akeno. Ara Issei-kun, tell me, what do you think of this outfit? Do you like it? The black-haired woman took out her wings and flew near the Saiyan. Issei. Hey, it looks good on you, you look very good. Akeno smiles at his girlfriend. Akeno was going to kiss him, but the Saiyan reacts quickly and raising his hand, stopped Kaneko's blow. Kaneko. Perverted Issei-senpai. Issei. That was a good blow. Kaneko-chan smiles but takes some advice, never attack directly from the beginning, it's something your opponent can normally expect and you'll only become an easy target, okay? Kaneko. Understood. Wait. Issei-senpai, leave the room now. Issei. Okay, let me know, he said, disappearing with his speed. After a while, everyone was now gathered and without waiting any longer, they left in a magical circle. Then they all appeared on a beach. Akeno. It's a very beautiful place. Erika. Not bad, I needed a break. Kaneko. Hi. Rias. Well, it's time to have fun. Issei. Oh no. Rias. What's wrong? Issei looked at him. Issei. I forgot something very important, I'll be right back. He put 2 fingers on his forehead and disappeared with teleportation. After a few moments, everyone was ready for their beach day. Erika. How long does my precious darling take? We are waiting for it. Kaneko. Issei-senpai already returned a few moments ago, she said with his flat voice. Akeno. Really? And where is Kaneko-chan? I look everywhere like the others. But Kaneko points to the open sea, and there they see him. Issei. Yes, I've wanted to do this for a long time. The Saiyan was surfing, he looked very happy, until he slipped and fell into the water. Moments later, Issei came out of the water while he shook his hair. Issei. Hello. Rias. Issei and your swimsuit. The Saiyan came out alone wearing a black boxer, highlighting a certain area, causing a certain black-haired woman to look at him with hunger. Issei. Huh? He looked at himself, but what? I was wearing it perhaps. He looked at the sea, and then he saw a dolphin standing on its tail with a pair of board shorts in its beak, then jumped and got lost in the sea. Issei. Oops, there they go, laughs, but it doesn't matter. Rias. How does it not matter? Here. She stretches out her hand, causing the Saiyan to be covered by a new swimsuit. Issei. Well, a few moments ago I came back, someone said that there was no problem, and that he could even walk naked if he wanted. Rias. Who the hell told you that? I exclaim, a little annoyed. Issei. A woman passing by here. Rias. Issei, I knew that the old you was somewhat innocent in some things, but this is already absurd, and it even seems like an anime, he said with his hand on his forehead. Issei. By the way, apart from that, she gave me this bucket, and then many women around started throwing small papers here, would they have thought it was a trash can? Rias, Akeno and Erika looked through the papers, and these were nothing more and nothing less than phone numbers and addresses written down. Rias. I understand, can you give it to me? He asked with a smile and twitches in his eye. Issei. Sure. I hand him the bucket. The redeed made a small scarlet flame appear and incinerated the papers. Rias. Issei, well, it is true that there are nudist beaches, this is not one of those, or do you see another person without clothes around the place? He said with a pout out of jealousy. Issei. Now that you say it. Erika. Maladet Putain, whatever. Issei, what do you think of my outfit? Issei. You look very good. Erika smiles at her. Akeno. And what about mine? In the end I decided on this one. Rias. Don't forget mine. Issei. Issei. They all look very good. Kaneko. Pervert said flatly. Issei. Huh. And now why? A few moments later, everyone was having fun in the water while Issei was lying down. Issei. Drake, could you notice it too? Drake. Yes, it didn't go unnoticed by me. Issei. A few moments ago, for a few milliseconds, I felt a very powerful Kai. It was so powerful that it even made me react. Maybe it went unnoticed by others because it was very fast, but not for me, he said very seriously. Drake. Be very careful, partner, I feel that things from now on are going to be very hectic. Issei. Yes, I will be very alert. Rias. Issei. Issei. Huh. Yes, Rias. Rias. Could you put suntan lotion on me? She said, lying on a blanket on the sand. Issei. Oh, sure. Issei was still thinking about the energy he had felt recently. For a few moments that energy became known to him, but it was so fast that he could not identify it. Whatever it was, as Drake said, he should be alert from now on. But his thought was interrupted when he heard moans. He looked down and saw that Rias was looking at him, panting and blushing. Issei's hands directly groped the Redeed's breasts. Issei. Ah, sorry Rias. Issei tried to get up, but the Redeed grabbed him, pulling him to her. Rias. You're not forgiven, come with me. Issei. Wade and the others. Rias. They're distracted. They both looked at Akeno and Erika playing with a ball in the water. While Kaneko was a little away catching fish with a fishing rod, Rias got up and took Issei to a cave that was nearby. Rias, Akeno and Erika were satisfying their desires with Issei. Akeno was giving him oral, while Rias and Erika were on their sides kissing Issei, who was groping the naked bodies of his girlfriends, letting himself go. Rias. Damn, she said with a pout as he kissed Issei again. Erika. Did you think we didn't have them under surveillance? A very big mistake, Rias, she said, licking the Saiyan's pectorals. Akeno. Issei-kun, don't resist, let it all out in my face, she said, caressing his cheek on the Saiyan's manhood. Issei. Akeno. She reacted and put the piston in her mouth, drinking what she could, although some of it fell on her body. Akeno. Delicious, and the same huge amount as always. She licked her lips while wiping. Issei. He sat very well. Akeno. But the others do it too. Issei. Yes, but. Akeno. Do I do better than them? Issei. Yes, saying that earned him a pull on the cheeks from the Redeed and the blonde, who looked very jealous, while Akeno smiles victoriously. Akeno. I see, foo, in that case I will do this to you as many times as you want, wherever and whenever, you just have to tell me, she said, giving kisses to the Neep Saiyan's base. At that, the red dragon was thrown to the ground. Erika. Well, I'll start. She got on top of the Saiyan, ready for Hex Buon Appetito. Issei just nods while Rias and Akeno took his hands and brought them to her breasts, starting to massage them. Thus the four began to satisfy their most depraved desires. While Kaneko had finished fishing, he had a bucket full of fish, but there was a frown on his face. Kaneko. Perverts, he said when he felt the energies of the four very united, but he also had a slight touch of jealousy on his cute little face. Time passed. Issei was currently seen training hard in the mansion where they resided before the raiding game against Raizer. Issei. If I want to protect this world, I need to be stronger, overcome the limits, take Super Saiyan 4 to new levels of power, and master the Super Saiyan, God thought excitedly. Greg. Well said, partner, never forget that determination, he said with a proud voice. All this while he was seen by Rias and Akeno. Akeno. Ara Issei-kun is motivated. Rias. Knowing that he now carries on his shoulders a reputation and the legacy of a warrior so powerful that he could have this world in his total domain without anyone to stand up to him, who wouldn't be? Akeno. Erika and Kaneko-chan call us to eat. Kiba-kun is back from his training in the forest. Rias. Okay, now I'll call Issei. While in the city, more precisely in a luxurious house, there was a girl who was anything but happy. Meow. Medaka. Yes, Kurakami Medaka has been like this since a few weeks ago she discovered that the person who had solved all her problems was gone. She couldn't even say goodbye properly. After finding out this, he has been with that look, without smiling, all the time. How to do it? If the person who had become so special to her was gone, she simply had no reason to smile. Even so, she has continued with her work in the student council, but without that spark or charisma that characterized her, and this caused concern for many who loved and respected her. Her curse was destroyed, but with this the person who became taboo special to her also left. You could say that now she was only 30% happy. Medaka. She left. I couldn't even say goodbye. She remembered everything she had done with Issei since she met him, the happy and most beautiful moments of her life with Issei. Medaka. No, she reacted, I'm not like that, and he wouldn't have wanted to see me like that. We separate, yes. But that doesn't mean it has to be forever. Little by little a smile began to grace her face again. Medaka. Issei, this is not goodbye, but see you soon, we will meet again, I promise, and this time, we will not separate again. But that raised in her mind, Medaka had recovered her spirits, now with the illusion that at some point she would meet the Saiyan again. And this time, she would tell him what she has begun to feel for him. Chapter 21 The Holy Swords. It was night, you could see the club members fighting a kind of fusion between dragon and plant. All the girls in the club were tied by some kind of tentacles that came out of the horrible creature. Erika. I swear that when I get rid of this, I will cut you into pieces and use you as soil fertilizer, he screams without being able to free himself from her restraints. Kaneko. Shame, it was the only thing he said. Akeno. Ara, he caught us, I smiled despite the situation. Rias. This is too humiliating. That's when a hologram appeared in front of the Redeed. Rafia. Rias-sama, I see that you are in a situation. Very tangled. Rias? Did you come to help or to be sarcastic? She said, trying to remove the vines. Rafia? Where is Hyoudou-san? Rias? He's had too many contracts lately, so I gave him the day off to rest. Rafia? I understand, and Issei-sama. Rias? She went to exterminate forsaken demons under my request, although she shouldn't take long to arrive. After finishing saying that, out of nowhere all the roots are cut and the girls fall to the ground, but they manage to land gracefully. The person responsible for freeing them appears in front of them all. Issei. I'm sorry for the delay, but I got hungry and I stopped to eat something. But I'm here. Rafia. I'm here. I smile slightly and then the hologram deactivates. Issei turns around and sees the creature, which looked quite furious as it saw how its prey were released. Issei. Is that a dragon? Greg. Of course not, it's an abomination, a beast that must be eliminated immediately. Their very existence and their actions give the dragons a bad name, he responded indignantly upon seeing the creature. Issei. Very well, in that case, what better way to eliminate a dragon than using another dragon, and I materialize his gauntlet. Greg. Welsh dragon balance breaker. Issei. I'm sorry dragon plant, but I only feel evil in you, so don't take it personally. To the maximum dragonian power exclaimed, expelling all the power of the Red Emperor dragon. 2 cannons came out from the back of the armor, aiming at the horrible creature. Boost, 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 boost. Issei drag. Jackpot. The plant dragon was disintegrated within seconds by the great power, not even its ashes remaining. The armor disappeared, showing the Saiyan. Issei. Could it have happened to me? He said with one when he saw an immense crater. Greg. Nonsense, that was a spectacular attack, worthy of a celestial dragon, he said, proud of his power. The Saiyan received a pinch on the cheek at that. Rias? Yes, if you went too far, just look at the mess you left behind when you destroyed that thing. If we hadn't put up a barrier to avoid attracting attention, we would be in serious trouble now. Just for that reason, you don't have dinner today. Issei. What? Hey, wait, that is too much. He got extremely scared. The Redeed ignored him while he went to help the others fill in the crater. Issei. No way, I have nothing left but to go fishing in a nearby river without them knowing. Sai going to help the others. That was a new day at Hyoudou mansion. Issei. Is this serious? He thought with a sense. The first thing he saw when he opened his eyes were Ria's breasts. He turned his head and saw Erika on the other side sleeping peacefully. Issei then felt how his crotch was being sucked continuously, beginning to give small sighs from the sensation. Those small sighs woke someone up. Rias? Okay, so early and you're already feeling good. Issei. Hello. Erika? What's wrong? Why so much noise in the morning? Issei. Good morning and sorry, it's just that. The three of them see a movement in the lower part of the Saiyan's body under the sheets. Rias? You don't have to be a genius to know who he is. Erika lifts the sheets. Bekeno. Fu, good morning, greeted the priestess of lightning without stopping to grab the Saiyan's front tail. Erika? Isn't it too early for that? Bekeno. Nonsense, I'm just helping Issei-kun with his typical everyday morning erection. At that point he began to rub the Saiyan's crotch vigorously up and down. Issei. Wait, Bekeno. Slpert. Bekeno. Our mission accomplished. My face was covered in you know what. The Rias. I would like to do it too, but we have to go to the academy, but there will be time to have a good time at night. This time you won. Bekeno. The three smiling got up, the Saiyan got up with them to get ready and go to the academy. Already at the academy, the Saiyan could be seen thinking about some things in his living room and in his chair. Issei. Rias was in charge of manipulating everyone's minds to let everyone ignore my new appearance, which I appreciate. Mitsuda and Motohama were expelled from the academy for the perverted acts in which they were discovered. I would have continued with them, perhaps I would have shared their fate. The sad thing is that I have not heard from them again. Well, wherever they are, I hope and tell them go well. He raises his head and sees Erika being surrounded and praised by the other girls in the room. It's all due to her being a foreigner and her Italian roots. Issei. I can't, I need to think about some things, but I can't here. I'll go to the club for a moment, there I'll have a little peace. Issei got up and headed to the club. Once there, he thought about some things. Issei. Since my battle against Goku, I have reached new levels of power. I even obtained 2 new transformations. I remember the SSJ God and the SSJ4 limit breaker, but even so, I can feel that I have a long way to go to reach my limits. There will be more. Will there be something beyond SSJ4? If so, how can I break that barrier? Issei. Power aside, I wonder how Medaka is doing. Even though it's been a short time, I miss her also. When will Igni return? At that moment the door opens and Akeno is seen entering. Akeno. Issei-kun. Issei. Akeno, I see we had the same idea of coming here. Smiles at him. Akeno. I usually come to the club after the first day to take a bath. Issei. I realize, he said when he saw her wearing a robe. At that point the lightning girl gets on top of the Saiyan. Issei. Akeno. Akeno. As much as I would like to have you to myself right now, 10 minutes wouldn't be enough for any of us, so we leave it for the night. Issei. Ah, okay. At that, the girl leans on the Saiyan's shoulder while he hugs her during the remainder of the break to return to class. Already in the evening, everyone was gathered at the Hyoudou mansion. Rias. Very well, since the club started its annual cleanup, we will hold the club meetings here. All. Hi, Rias. This month we have had 11 contracts with Akeno, 10 contracts with Kaneko, 8 contracts with Hyoudou, 9 contracts with Erika. Diba. It's impressive, Erika-san. Akeno. Ara, good job. Kaneko. Not bad for an initiate. Erika. Thank you for your words, I smile happily. Rias. As for Issei, 23 contracts. She saw the report surprised. The others were similarly surprised. Akeno. Ara, that's a record. Diba. Awesome. Kaneko. It's exceeding expectations. Erika. Would you feel motivated? Rias. Speaking of Issei, he hasn't returned from today's contract yet. Well, he returns, let's see what we can do. 30 minutes later, behind the demons, a sound was heard. They turned around and saw Issei, who had returned with teleportation, but upon seeing him clearly, all the girls were left with their mouths open. Issei had lipstick marks on his face and neck, even on his arms. Issei. I'm sorry for the delay, but that contract took longer than it should, but in the end, I managed to fulfill it. Smile showing the signed request. To the Saiyan's confusion, Rias, Akeno and Erika had chilling looks as they watched him. Rias. Issei, can you tell me what the contract you made was about? Issei. Well, some ladies who looked like businesswomen wanted me to keep them company. As time went by we got along well, they even fed me, but after that I started to feel sleepy, but thanks to my resistance I got over it. Even so, they told me I was handsome and started showering me with kisses. In the end we chatted animatedly and they signed the contract. After finishing, Rias, Akeno and Erika had their auras free, although to a lesser extent. In the end they calmed down, but they were already making plans to expel the bitches from the contracts with the demons. Issei. By the way, what are you doing? He wiped his face with a handkerchief. Kiba. The president found these albums of photos, and we were looking at them as you arrived. Smile showing an album. Moments later everyone saw the images of Issei in his childhood. But in that Kiba found a peculiar photo. Kiba. Hey, Issei-kun, could you tell me something about this photo, he said with an emotionless tone. Issei. Let's see, he was between my 10 years, I think so, that boy used to be a friend of mine, we played all the time, although by chance of fate he had to leave the country, and I never saw him again. I wonder how will it be now. Kiba. Issei-kun, could you tell me something about the sword that appears in the photo? Issei. The truth is I don't know much, I only know that it used to belong to my friend's dad, from there I don't remember anything else. Kiba. And to think that coincidences could happen. I never thought I would see something like this here. Issei. What are you talking about, Kiba? Kiba. This is a holy sword. He coldly saw the image. Issei. Holy sword. Kiba. No, it's nothing, thanks for letting us see the images. Issei-kun smile. Issei. That smile is fake, I think, looking at the blonde. After that, a new contract arose, so Issei was sent to order. Now he was flying through the night skies. Issei. What will happen to Kiba? Since he saw that photo he has acted falsely. Besides, a holy sword. After a while of flying, I arrive at his destination. He entered a luxury hotel until he arrived at the indicated apartment and rang the doorbell. Issei. Normally I could appear in front of the subject with teleportation, but I feel like it would be rude, or is it that this body makes me feel that way? The door opened. Issei. Good night. Do I call it demon? I'm sorry to appear this way, lately I have problems with the magic circle and, well, it doesn't matter, just come in, you're a demon right? Issei. That Kai, that aura, there is no doubt, it is a fallen angel, I think. Looking at the subject, Issei sat up and looked around. Issei. How much luxury, I'm sure he's a millionaire. The subject entered the room. Man. Babies. He said with whiskey in hand. Issei. Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm not one of those who drink, or rather, since I had this body, alcohol started to taste horrible to me. Man. Really? What a shame, I was hoping to share a drink with someone. Issei. That was his wish. Man. Is there something wrong? Issei. Ah no, not really, but at that the Saiyan's stomach rumbled. Issei. I'm not a drinker, but don't you have something to eat? I'm just hungry. She laughed with her hand behind her head. Man. Hahaha, it's good that I prepared myself for that request. I'll be right back. He headed to the kitchen without stopping laughing. Issei. Did you prepare? Thinking confused. After a few moments there was a large table full of food and a single person destroying everything. We already know who it is. Issei. This is good, man. Hahaha, let me understand, you can't use the magic circle due to lack of magic. What bad luck you have, boy. Hahaha, this one was already half drunk from drinking. Issei. Peft him, he said with 3 rice balls in his mouth. After a while, this had ended everything. Issei. That was delicious, thanks for the food. He rubbed his stomach. Man. Thanks to you, it was a good talk, besides the spectacle of eating as fast as you can, haha. Issei. Sorry about that, seeing something like that must look unreal. Smiles nervously. Man. Nonsense. To tell the truth, I know someone with a similar appetite. Issei. Man. Nothing, anyway, the company has been great. A few moments later, the Saiyan was seen flying through the skies, while on his back he carried a painting. Issei. What kind of man would hand over his soul to the first one? He didn't even tremble when he offered it to me. In the end I opted for the painting. I think Rias would like it. But who was that fallen angel? Dreg. He's not just any fallen angel, partner. Issei. Dreg, do you know something? Dreg. Well, yes, this is Azazel, the leader of the fallen angels faction. That surprised the Saiyan. Issei. Really? And why would a leader of another faction make contracts with demons? Dreg. A theory comes to mind, the boosted gear. Issei. Do you want to take it from me? Dreg. Rather study it. Azazel is known for having a great interest in studying sacred gears, and much more so if they are longinus, but also, Azazel is not in the least interested in evil or causing a war. His goal is, I could say that it is being able to create one's own sacred gears, just as God did in ancient times, and for that he dedicates himself to studying the gadgets of God. Issei. I understand, he doesn't sound like a bad guy, even so I won't let my guard down. The Saiyan, following Ria's indication, arrives at an abandoned barn, but from the noises that were heard, one could see that they had already begun to fight. Inside the place, the club members were seen fighting a street demon. Kaneko. Hyoudou, senpai. Hyoudou senpai. The swordsman was distracted. The demon threw an acid at the Nico, but in front of her, Issei appears, and with a swipe of his hand, he deflects the lethal liquid. If you looked closely, the Saiyan's hand was covered in kai, so as not to suffer damage. Issei. Kiba reaction to set annoyed. Kiba. Oh yeah. The swordsman cuts off the demon's arms. Kaneko grabs him by the paw and throws him into the sky. Erika appears in front of the beast, and with her sword cuts him in many directions with her speed, and with a kick she throws him against Akeno, who was a few meters from him. Akeno. Thank you, Erika-chan. The powerful bolt of lightning fell on the creature, leaving it fried until it falls to the ground, and Rias walks up to it and extinguishes it with her power of destruction, thus finishing the job. Erika. That was close. Everyone turned to look and saw Rias slap Kiba. Rias. Did that help you react? She said, between serious and annoyed because of the distraction you had. We were about to lose a family member. Kiba. I am very sorry for my mistake, President, he said with his eyes lowered. Rias. What's wrong with you, Hyoudou? You have never acted this way. Kiba. Today has not been my best day, I need to retire for today. He bowed and left. Rias. Hyoudou. Irideed feels a hand on her shoulder, turns around and sees her boyfriend. Issei. Let him go, we don't know what's wrong with him, but it seems like he needs time alone to organize his thoughts. It would be best not to bother him for now, he said, watching the blonde walk away. Rias nods, and with a sigh, the others also prepare to return home. Are you sure this is the place? Arena. Of course, Zenovia, I used to live here years ago, plus I'll take this opportunity to see my childhood friend. I hope he hasn't changed much. Smiles beautifully. Zenovia. Good. In an unknown place, two girls were seen illuminated by the moon. Interesting things will happen now. Chapter 22. Behold the Saiyan power. It was a new day, the night before neither Issei nor his girls had their daily night of action, as everyone was worried about the blonde's recent behavior, and Rias feared that her knight would end up deserting the clan and becoming a renegade. Issei. Good night, I couldn't sleep because of worry. Akeno. You're not the only one, Issei-kun. Erika. From Asia's memories, I know that Kiba has always been calm and collected, that attitude last night was not like him. Rias. This is a terrible situation. Issei. Everything will be fine, let's trust that Kiba will do the right thing. The girls nod, everyone decides to get up. Rias. We'll go make breakfast. Issei. Akeno. See you soon, Issei-kun. Erika. Don't take too long, Issei. The three kiss the Saiyan and then go to the kitchen. Issei. Valileo, he gave a sigh. Dreg. Hey partner. Issei. Hey Dreg, is something wrong? Dreg. The truth is, lately I have felt a strange force around you, and that gives me trouble sleeping. Issei. So you also feel it these days? For milliseconds, I could feel a powerful presence. The disturbing thing about this is that I swear that presence was close to my level. Unfortunately, just as it appears, it also disappears, making it impossible for me to locate it, he said seriously. Dreg. You must keep your eyes open, partner, you never know when a powerful enemy could appear, among them the White One may appear. Issei. The White One? Ah, I remember you talked about that guy on several occasions. Dreg. The White Emperor Dragon, the Vanishing Dragon. Issei. The Vanishing Dragon, it must be a powerful enemy. Dreg. Well yes, we are known as the two celestial dragons, but we never get along, and the bearers are always destined to fight among themselves. Issei. Carriers. You say there is a guy with a sacred gear like you? Greg. There is, Issei. And I'm destined to fight him in the future, right? Greg. That's right, that's your destiny. Normally I would say that now with you as a Saiyan, you would sweep the floor with him in the blink of an eye, but I have a strange feeling that this time it won't be nothing simple. Issei. Well, anyway, he got out of bed. Let's not think about that now. I have other matters to take care of now, so we'll talk later. The Saiyan would go to clean up and then have breakfast and attend the academy with the others. Classes would attend normally and without problems until the day ended. Now we see Issei and Erika enter the club. Erika. They clean very well, the floor looks like a mirror. Issei. The truth is, I like the effect. Erika. By the way, what about that strange sealed door? She said, pointing to a door with do not enter symbols and security tape. Issei. The truth is that since I have been here it has always been closed. I have even called it the forbidden room, but there shouldn't be anything special in there. The two of them, ignoring that, finally went to the club where the others were. Rias. Now that the building is clean, we can have meetings at the club again, but I still feel uneasy about last night. Issei. Speaking of which, where is Kiba? Kaneko. Hyoudou-senpai didn't show up for class, he said, eating a chocolate. Issei. Rias, do you remember that last night I showed you a photo where a sword appeared that caught Kiba's attention? Could that have something to do with the current situation? If so, how's Kiba involved with the holy swords? Rias. Last night I mentioned that Hyoudou is a survivor of the Holy Sword project, right? It wasn't just him, there were other children who were involved to try to be compatible with the Excalibur. The reason is because there are 7 swords known as the Excalibur. Issei. 7. Did they clone them or what? Rias. Not exactly, the original Excalibur was destroyed a long time ago in a difficult battle, but the church found the pieces that were left and used alchemy to create 7 new swords. Erika. So Kiba-san is capable of using the holy sword. Rias. No, Hyoudou along with the other test subjects resulted in a total failure to be compatible with the Excalibur, and due to this result, the leader of that experiment made the decision to get rid of all the test subjects. Issei. Get rid of? You're not implying that. Rias. When I found him, he was almost dead. He was the only survivor, his desire for revenge was so strong. Who refused to die. When I saw his great determination and how he clung to what was left of his life, I wanted him to put that determination to better use by being a demon. It was at that moment that I decided to reincarnate him and make him my noble. Issei. So that's Kiba's story, it's a brutal origin story. Rias. Well, for now let's just keep an eye on him, okay? Shows a hopeful smile. Akeno. It's good that everyone is here. Rias. Akeno, it's not like you to be late. Akeno. The thing is that I brought visitors. That's when Sona and Tsubaki entered. Sona. Greetings, she said, adjusting her glasses. Erika. Sona-sama, Tsubaki-san. Akeno. You have business to discuss with the president. Sona. That's right, Rias, I need you to accompany me to my house, there no one will be able to bother us. Rias. The matter seems to be very important. Sona. Yes, too much, come on. Rias. Okay, that's all for today, you can go. Akeno, you're coming with me. Issei, Erika, Kaneko, I'll see you later. Without further ado, everyone left, but first Akeno said goodbye to Issei with a kiss and then left with the others. Issei was going to leave, but stops short. Erika. Issei, are you okay? Issei. I feel too unknown Kai in my house, he said seriously. Erika. Really? Issei. Erika, we'll take a shortcut home. Issei took the blonde by the waist and both disappeared with teleportation, leaving only the Nico in the place. Kaneko. Be very careful, she said, leaving through the door. Issei and the Italian appeared in front of the entrance and both saw 2 hooded people. Are you sure it's here? I already told you, yes, this is where the Hyoudou house should be. Well, I admit that they live well, he said, looking at the huge building. Issei. Excuse me. The 2 hooded women turn when they hear a voice behind them. Issei. May I know what you want in my house? Arena. Our sincere apologies, we are looking for the home of the Hyoudou family, she bowed slightly. Issei. This is the Hyoudou house, my house, I am Hyoudou Issei, he said with a smile. That pure smile captivated and blushed both hooded women, but one was startled after what the Saiyan said. Arena. What? Hyoudou Issei. Are you Issei? She said, very shocked. Issei. Yes, why? I asked, confused. Arena. No, it just can't be, what happened? Why do you look so different? I asked without being able to believe it. Issei. Excuse me, but do I know you? Arena. It's natural that you don't remember me, it's me. He took off his hood. I'm Hyoudou Arena. Issei. Huh? Hyoudou Arena. My childhood friend. It just can't be, what happened? Did you have surgery to change your hex? Arena. Of course not, I have always been Shika. The blue net covers her mouth only to hear a laugh coming from her. Arena. Don't laugh, Zenobia. Issei. Really? You're a girl? I never realized. Arena. The one who should be surprised would be me, what happened? Why do you look so different? Although you don't look bad, she said with a slight blush. Issei. The truth is, a lot of things have happened in these years. Irina. I think I have time to listen to them. Smiles. By the way, Issei-kun, where are your parents? They are fine. There was an awkward silence, which confused the girl. Issei. Irina. My parents died a while ago, she said seriously. Hearing that was like receiving a bucket of cold water for the girl with the pigtails. Irina. What? After a while, the Saiyan invited them in, and from then on he told them about everything that happened. Irina. Oh no, I can't believe it, Issei. I'm so sorry, she said with a sad look. Issei. It's okay, it was a long time ago anyway, he said calmly. Irina. It must have been difficult to cope alone from the beginning. I'm sorry I wasn't here for you. Issei. It's okay, Irina, I got over it, he said calmly. Irina. But why do you look so different? Rather, totally different, even your voice changed. Issei, feeling the energy that Irina and her companion gave off, knew that they were from the Christian faction, so he decided to keep that information hidden so as not to cause problems for Rias and her sister, who is the Mao of the underworld. Issei. I'm sorry, Irina, but that information is confidential. I can't tell you that simply. Even less so if you are from the Sky faction, he said seriously. The two were extremely surprised to hear that, although the blue-haired girl narrowed her eyes suspiciously, already getting an idea of what the Saiyan meant by that. Irina. Issei. Perhaps you. She got her answer when the Saiyan took out his demon wings, and Erika, who was next to her and didn't speak the entire time, also took out his wings. The two girls from the church became overexcited when they saw that. Irina. Issei, you are a demon. Issei. More like I was reincarnated into one, and the girl next to me too, he said calmly. Zenobia. Then you are our enemy. Takes out his sword. Erika. Oh. You want to dance. Takes out his sword. Rias. That's enough. Appeared in a magic circle. Issei. Erika. Rias. Envoys of the church, they know the old rules. If you raise your weapons to attack someone else's territory, you will be openly inciting a war, and that would break the neutrality that we maintain in our factions. Be more responsible with your actions. I rule seriously. You too, Erika, put away your sword. Erika. Tch. Good. I put away his gun. Rias. Issei. Calm down, she said softly. Issei. Good, she said, making her emerald eyes turn black again. Zenobia, seeing those eyes, her hands trembled to the point that she almost dropped the sword from her hands. The same thing happened with Irina. When the Saiyan's eyes turned emerald, the atmosphere in the place became heavier. Issei gave a sigh and her eyes returned to normal, at the same time that the church envoys felt that they could move again. Irina. Issei-kun, you are more than a demon, that's what you can't tell me, right? He looked into her eyes. Issei. You could say, I'm sorry, Irina. She stood firm in her decision. Rias. Very well, you two look at Zenobia and Irina. I am aware of what you both want here, so tomorrow we will have a meeting in the Kuo Academy Occult Club room, there we will talk calmly. The two girls accepted and prepared to leave. Irina gave the Saiyan a light hug and left, leaving only the three of them in the room. Erika. That could have gone better, she sighed. Rias. Although there is peace in the three factions, it is only a very thin thread. We must be very careful in our actions, and the same for the other two races. Issei. By the way, and Akeno. Rias. I asked him to prepare everything in the club room for tomorrow. He won't take long to arrive. Smiles. After a while Akeno arrives, but that night none of the four decided to play. They were in moments of tension and had to stay focused, something that Issei understood well, and they only dedicated themselves to sleeping. The next day, everyone was gathered in the club room, and the church envoys were also there. Rias. Very well, why are the envoys of the church visiting the territory of the demons? Zenobia. To begin with, my name is Zenobia Quarta, and the one next to me is my partner Hyoudou. Irina. Irina. Hello, I smile happily. Basically the conversation was the same as in the anime, revealing the disappearance of the holy swords, as well as how they presented their own swords, and why they were in Kao. When they had clarified the whole matter of why they were here, the girls were preparing to leave. Rias. Don't you want to stay and have tea? Smile. Irina. Yes, be encouraged. Zenobia. I'm sorry but no, we can't be so polite to the demons, she said stoically, ignoring Irina's complaints. As they were about to leave, Zenobia stared at Erika, who raised a confused eyebrow at that. Zenobia. I've been wondering this since I was at Hyoudou Issei's house. You look at the Italian, that energy I feel in you, are you Asia Argento? The blonde was surprised by that, but she still remained calm. Erika. You could say that at some point I was. Zenobia. I never thought I would have a heretic in front of my eyes. Erika. Excuse me. The atmosphere became uncomfortable. Irina. Oh, you are the ex-nun who became a witch. I heard that you were exiled because you could also cure demons and fallen angels, but we never thought that you would become a demon. Zenobia. To think that a saint would become a demon, it is clear that no one is perfect. Kaneko. Issei-senpai, no. The Nekomata grabbed the Saiyan's hand as she noticed that his eyes turned emerald. Zenobia. Asia, do you still believe in God? Irina. Zenobia, she is a demon. Zenobia. Even so, some blasphemers feel guilt and retain a little of their faith. Irina. Really? Hey Asia-chan, do you still believe in God being a demon? Ikeno. Issei, calm down, I squeeze her other hand. Issei. What are you talking about, Ikeno? I am very calm. Erica. Firstly, my name is now Erica, and secondly, even though I am no longer Asia, I feel that it is something that I cannot forget so easily. I believed in it all my life when I was Asia. Zenobia. In that case I will murder you now, whatever sin you have committed, the Lord will forgive you. In the name of God you will die. Rias. Please I ask you to stop, I will not allow my noblesse to be belittled. Zenobia. I don't look down on you, demon, it's my duty as a woman of faith. Erica. I hear enough. I take the sword out of her and transform it into a spear. But someone came forward, standing between the two. Rias. Issei no. Erica. Darling, Issei. The two of you have an opportunity to apologize for her words. Even if Asia is no longer here, I will not allow those insults towards her. Zenobia. It's an appropriate term for her, because she should apologize. But they didn't finish talking when Zenobia and Irina flew away, colliding with one of the walls of the club, falling to the floor, leaving a noticeable crack in the wall where they collided. The two of them felt some broken ribs, while they gasped exasperatedly for air, feeling that this blow took the air out of their lungs. Zenobia saw the Saiyan with ire. Zenobia. Damn, do you dare to attack us? This can be considered a declaration of war. Issei. I'm not the least bit interested in what this causes. What does matter to me is that I'm not going to let them mess with my friends. Besides, you were the one who started calling her Santa. Asia was always alone, and I know she still lives somewhere inside Erica, so I won't let them continue insulting her. Erica witnessed how she was defended, part of Asia's feelings enveloped her, and she hugged the Saiyan's back, while light tears fell down her face. Erica. Thank you, Issei. Irina. Issei-kun, why do you defend them? These are demons. Issei. You shut your mouth, Irina. You marginalize others for being of different races. I never thought you would change so much. Irina. I am a follower of God, this time I speak angry. Zenobia. Exactly, a saint only needs the love of God, those who seek more love or friendship are not worthy of holiness. Issei. I realize that they have a very twisted sense of faith, it's starting to give me chills. Zenobia. Very well enough, I begin to take your words as a challenge to the entire church. Are you aware of the situation you are exposing yourself to? Still, I need to pay you for that hit, so I'll be happy to return the favor. Smiles proudly. Ikeno. Believe me, Issei has enough power to defend himself. One thing is for him to be weak, and another very different thing is for him to know how to suppress his power. By making him look weak, think very carefully about the terrain you are getting into. Zenobia. Oh, interesting, in that case I will verify those words in a battle. Hiba. Very good, it seems perfect to me. Zenobia. And who are you? Hiba. Of course your senpai. Rias. Hyoudou. I look at him with concern. Later, everyone could be seen in the club garden. Issei and Kiba were ready to face their opponents. Rias remembered what the Saiyan said about him a few moments ago. Kiba will not be able to win, he is blinded by revenge, he will fight out of his mind, and will be easy prey for his opponent. Rias. Damn, I think frustrated. Zenobia. Very well, let's begin. Irina. We won't hurt them too much. They both took off their robes and showed their swords. Ikeno. Is this okay? Wouldn't we get in trouble? Rias. This is just an unofficial church confrontation. Irina. If our superiors found out about this, we would be in trouble. Zenobia. Just like Irina said a moment ago, we will try our best not to hurt them, or worse yet kill them. Kiba. Hahaha. Zenobia. What's so funny? I raise an eyebrow. Kiba. Nothing, I'm just happy because I've been given the opportunity to destroy what I hate so much, he said, taking out his swords. Zenobia. The sword birth, now I understand, you are the test subject who escaped from the holy sword experiment. Irina. Hyoudou. Issei-kun. Issei. What do you want? I look at her seriously. Irina. I can't believe my old childhood friend turned into a demon while we were apart. Does fate play with us by causing a tragedy? Issei. Huh? I look at her confused. Irina. I finally became compatible with the holy sword. I even sailed on the sea, thinking it would be of some use. Is this another of the Lord's challenges? Although overcoming this will make me close to him, this is God's test. Issei. You really lost your mind with all that faith. Irina. Very good, Issei-kun, I will use my Excalibur to punish you for your sins. Don't resist and be purified. Amen. He launched himself into the attack. Issei. I don't know what you mean by that, but don't think I'll forget what they said about Asia, that's why I'm still angry. The Saiyan's wrath manifested itself, and he immediately transformed into Super Saiyan. The envoys of the church were more than surprised to see the Saiyan's transformation, in addition to feeling their bodies tremble as they felt an overwhelming power coming out of the Saiyan, and although they had a hard time accepting it, they felt intimidated by the warrior's angry look. Irina. Issei-kun, what happened to you? Why did you undergo that change? Although you look very good, he admitted with a blush. Issei. It's my Super Saiyan transformation, very good, let's fight. He got into position. Arena. Very well, get ready. Grabbing his sword, he launched himself at the Saiyan. Arena. Amen. Clank. Arena's eyes widened when she saw that her attack was blocked by the Saiyan, who used a simple finger, although it released more energy than the rest of her body. Arena. But how? Issei. What happened, Arena? Is that all your power? Arena. Of course not, don't underestimate God's warriors. Hineko. I concentrate a lot of Kai on his finger to strengthen it and be able to stop the attack of that sword, a good move. Bekeno. What is also surprising is that he does not receive damage from being so close to the influence of the holy sword. Rias. Maybe his Saiyan blood and power protect him against that weakness. Still, Issei, don't let yourself be touched by that holy sword. Issei. Don't worry, I have everything under control. Smiles at him. Arena. You talk like you're going to win, Issei-kun. Issei. That's what it's about, Arena, you can't beat me. Smiles. Arena became angry at this since they underestimated her, so she again launched herself into the attack, launching slash after slash, and all of them being blocked by the Saiyan's finger. Clank, clank, clank. Zenovia. Surprising, she said, looking at Issei. Maybe I underestimated it a little. I must also take into account Asia Argento's Twilight Healing, sorry, Erica Blandelli, and also your sword birth, they really have unique gadgets. Hiba. Just so you know, my power originated from the hatred and resentment of those who were held captive with me, a hatred that was born from the depths of despair over the death of my loved ones. She launched herself into the attack, charging at Zenovia. Hiba. And I'm going to use my abilities to destroy the Excalibur and its wielders, beginning with you. Issei. The carriers have nothing to do with Kiba, he thought while he continued blocking Arena's attacks. Bekeno. Just receiving a simple touch from the holy sword causes lethal damage to a demon. Everything indicates that we are at a great disadvantage, he said, watching the fight. Rias. Hyoudou makes up for it with his speed, while Issei. Clank. Arena began to pant and sweat from attacking so much, and seeing that she did nothing to the Saiyan, and she was repelled by just one of his fingers, she began to feel great shame at this. Rias. It's more than clear that Arena won't be able to do anything to Issei. Smiles. Bekeno. Yes, basically that girl is facing a god. Smiles the same way. Arena. Issei-kun, it's not fair that you're stronger than me, she pouted. Issei. If you're done, I think it's my turn. The Saiyan raises his hand and creates a sphere of energy, which he throws squarely at Arena. Out of reflex and fear, he swings his sword and cuts that sphere in two, but boom. A large explosion is heard behind the girl. Arena turns her gaze, and to her surprise and horror, there were two huge holes that were produced by the explosion of the severed energy sphere. Arena. That was dangerous. Issei-kun, are you trying to kill me? I reply, annoyed. Issei. I don't think you're in a position to say that when you attack me with that holy sword, plus I'm still upset about how you and your friend behaved with my friend's frown. Arena. Why do you defend them? They are demons, beings of darkness that incite evil and sin in human beings. He saw the girls upset. The girls felt uncomfortable at those words. Issei. Maybe there are demons like that, but it shouldn't be generalized to everyone. Arena. I'm going to make you see reason with my Excalibur. But then the Saiyan appears in front of the girl, leaving her more than surprised by her speed. Issei extends a hand towards Arena and launches a gust of wind that sends the girl flying, making her crash into a tree. Issei. I'm sorry, Arena, but I'm in favor of gender equality. Arena just coughed as she felt the air escape her. It was a very strong blow. Clank. Hiba and Zenovia stepped back after that clash, and the blonde grabbed a sword of fire and another of ice. Hiba. Burn to ashes and freeze to the bones. Hiba launched furious attacks, beginning to be easy prey for the blue-haired girl. Zenovia. You're becoming predictable. The woman with one slash destroyed the Gremory Knight swords, then stabbed her sword forcefully into the ground, creating a great wave of power that made Kiba retreat. Arena, who had recovered, loses her balance and falls, but Issei was standing well. Issei. That sword has a lot of power. Greg. Of course it is, after all it is a piece of the original Excalibur, which had monstrous power and abysmal destruction. Issei. Surprising, I would like to have one of those swords, but hey, it doesn't matter, besides I already have Goku's sacred staff. Zenovia. This is the reason why my sword is known as the Sacred Sword of Destruction. Hiba. To think that just one of those has so much power, destroying them all will be a challenge. Issei. Kiba, are you willing to die to fulfill that revenge? He saw the blonde serious. Arena. Damn, that Zenovia launches an attack of that magnitude without warning. She gets up shaking the dust. Very well, Issei-kun, let's continue with our fight. The girl with the pigtails launches an attack, but Issei only dodges her as she expels another gust of wind, making her fall. Issei. Yes, he is weak. Disappointed sigh. Arena, who heard that, got angry and got up. Arena. Don't make fun of me. The girl transformed her katana into a whip and threw it, entangling the Saiyan's hand. Arena. Gotcha. Smile. Issei only sees the rope tangled in his hand, and at the girl's confusion, he smiles as if thinking about something. Issei grabs the rope tightly and, Issei. Get over here. With a strong pull, Irina is pulled forcefully towards the Saiyan, who, having her so close to her, hits her on the back of the head with her hand. Irina. Ah. The girl finally falls unconscious to the ground. Issei just sighs at her seeing her. Issei. I feel a great potential in Irina, but she is very far from reaching that. If she continues like this, she will never reach her true strength. Sai returning to her base state. Zenobia, who saw the final scene, was surprised. Zenobia. It can't be Irina, was. Kiba. Don't get distracted, your opponent is me. The knight transformed his sword into a larger one. Kiba. Your sacred sword against my demonic sword, let's see which one is more powerful. In blind rage she lunged at Zenobia, who sighed in disappointment. Zenobia. You're sad. The blue net easily dodged the attack that became very predictable and hit the blonde in the stomach with the handle of her sword, making him spit blood when he felt the sacred essence in her body and finally fell limply to the ground. Floor. Zenobia. You have a great variety of swords and exceptional skill, but you attacked with blind rage and that made your movements predictable and easy to read. Not only do you need power to carry a sword of that size, you also need to increase your speed. This she turned around. Kiba. Wait, he tried to get up, but couldn't. This isn't over yet. Zenobia. First try to calm down all that anger you feel before your next fight. Very good. This she addressed the Saiyan, who also looked at her. Zenobia. It seems that only you and I are left. I prepare his sword. Issei. It seems so. Zenobia. Aren't you going to turn blonde like a few moments ago? I want to see it, she said with a slight blush. She recognizes that the warrior in Super Saiyan looked very attractive. Issei. You're right, he transforms again, but I also want to try something different this time. He stretched out his hand and in a magical circle, her sacred staff appeared. Zenobia. A staff. She was confused. Do you think a simple staff could withstand the power of my Excalibur? You're crazy. Issei. You are the one who doesn't understand. This staff has been very helpful to its previous bearer. It has even saved his life. It would be better if you don't underestimate it just because of its appearance, smiles confidently. Zenobia. In that case, show me. The blue net, with her sword in hand, launched herself to attack the Saiyan at the moment of the thrust. Plank. Zenobia. But what? Issei. I told you, I better return to my base state. This one returned to normal. What do you think? I told you it wasn't a weapon to underestimate. The warrior exerts more pressure, making the blue net retreat. Rias. That sacred staff is indeed resistant. She was very surprised. Akeno. All of Hyoudou-kun's swords were destroyed by the Excalibur, but Issei's sacred staff withstood her blade without any problem, she said, just as surprised. Haneko. Issei-senpai is just playing with the church girl. Erika. The result has already been decided, even so I will see it until the end. Zenobia. Why did you go back to normal? Do you underestimate me? Issei. No, I just want to fight at the same level, otherwise this fight would be very boring, smiles. Zenobia. TCH, do not make fun of me. The blue net attacked the Saiyan again, who repelled all of Excalibur's attacks with the sacred staff. Plank. Erika. No matter how much I attack, that bakulo doesn't get any scratches. Akeno. I wonder what it was made of. The others were asking themselves the same question. Zenobia, seeing that she was only being blocked in the attack, she started to get angry. Zenobia. Come on, attack, or are you afraid? If you don't do it, then I'll do it. The warrior stabs her sword into the ground again. Issei, seeing this, jumps, thus avoiding the wave of power that the sword caused. Issei. In the air, if you want me to attack, then I will. Sacred staff grows. To Zenobia's surprise, the staff began to lengthen absurdly. When she saw that this weapon was aimed at her, she jumped to avoid being impaled by the weapon. Landing a few meters, she is very surprised. Zenobia. But how? That staff grew. Akeno. That's not Issei-kun's only staff that grows, fufufu. The others, upon catching the double meaning of his words, blushed. Issei just coughed, trying to ignore what he heard. Greg. El Macho, ha ha ha. Issei. Shut up. While Zenobia analyzed something she saw in that staff. Zenobia. Wait a minute, that ability looks like Monkey King Sun Wukong's magic staff. He was surprised when he remembered that could he be a disciple. He thought, looking at the Saiyan. Issei. Hey, you know what? I'm already getting hungry, so let's finish this now. Without letting her respond, the Saiyan appears at a blinding speed in front of the blue-haired girl, surprising her for this. Issei swings his staff to attack, which he achieves by knocking the girl to the ground. She was going to get up but is stopped by the base of the staff. Staff pointing at his neck. Issei. It's over, I win, he said seriously. Zenobia. So it seems, sighs resignedly. I accept my defeat. Hyoudou, Issei. With this, Zenobia, seeing her and the staff similar abilities, became convinced that the Saiyan had been trained by the Monkey King. Yes, of course, XD. Having finished everything, Issei helps a frustrated Kiba up, while Zenobia wakes up Irina. Then Rias asks why they are so dedicated to the matter of the holy swords, and Zenobia reveals that a Gregory leader named Kakabeel is involved in the matter, thus discovering that the church's envoys are willing to confront a leader and die in the matter. Attempt to recover the holy swords or in the worst case, destroy them so that they do not fall into the wrong hands. Irina reveals that a priest was sent before them, but that he died in his work, then Kiba reveals that the culprit was the deranged ethicist Freed, who had a holy sword in his possession, surprising those present greatly. Zenobia and Irina are grateful for the information, but before leaving, Irina sees Issei one last time. Irina. Issei-kun, so you are going to continue on the side of the demons, despite the dark beings they are? I ask very sadly. Issei. They saved my life, Irina. I know that not all of them are bad. You chose your path, and I chose mine. That's my final answer. The girl with pigtails felt angry, hurt and disappointed, but more than that. She felt betrayed. Irina. Corrupted traitor. She sadly turned around and left. Issei. I don't know why, but I have a feeling that he hates me now. Greg. No, do you think so? Issei. I already understood sarcasm. Be quiet. Zenobia. Don't worry, just give her a little time, she's just shocked by this, she told him when she saw the conversation. Issei. Thank you, smiles at him. The brunette turned around to reach Irina, but before she gave Issei one last look. Zenobia. Hi to Issei. Issei. Yes. Zenobia. Sun Wukong trained you very well, you have my respect for that. Smiling at her for the last time, she finally left. The place remained silent because of the blue-haired girl's last statement. Issei. Huh. Rias. Huh. Bakeno. What? Erika. What? Kiba. What? Kaneko. Nani. Everyone was very confused by this, but in the end they decided not to care about it. They had more important things to attend to, so they all returned to the club room. Well friends, that's it for this chapter. I hope you liked it, the star and comment to know your opinions, and well, without anything more to say, I say goodbye, until next time. Ultimate Reborn out. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.